Chapter 1029. Senior Martial Brother, the survival of the sect is the most important thing. As for the rest, we will shoulder it together after this matter is over. Right now, the most important thing is to protect the sect. That's right. Senior Martial Brother Sect Master, the survival of the sect is the most important thing. Although we are not sure if the other party will come, it's always good to be prepared in advance. What's left is nothing. After all, this matter concerns the survival of the sect. We don't dare to be careless in the slightest. You all. Ling Jianzi was stunned when he saw the reactions of his fellow disciples. The troubled expression on his face disappeared as his gaze fell on Wang Yun. Junior Martial Brother Wang Yun, you were the first to inform us of this matter. I wonder if you can make a trip with me. After all, you are the one who knows the most about this matter. You see. As soon as Ling Jianzi said that, the remaining elders of the sect all gathered their gazes on Wang Yun. Their eyes were filled with pleading as if they were afraid that Wang Yun would not go with them. Looking at the crowd, Wang Yun understood their worries. Senior Martial Brother Sect Master, you don't have to say anything about this matter. Everyone seemed to have misunderstood Wang Yun's meaning. When they heard Wang Yun's words, their expressions changed. Well, what I mean is, even if Senior Martial Brother Sect Master didn't say anything, I would still go with you. After all, I was the one who knew about this matter first. Furthermore, I still hope to be on good terms with the other party. I believe that even if the three old ancestors were to come out, they would not be a match for that expert. Therefore, we still have to look at this matter from the perspective of seeking peace. What? Everyone agreed. Although they were not very clear about the strength of the sect's old ancestors, their legends had always been circulating in the sect. It was said that the three of them were once from the Central Province continent. Furthermore, it seemed that the Sword Sect was also a branch of the Central Province continent. Of course, other than the three old ancestors, only Ling Jianzi, the sect master, knew about this matter. Of course, the three ancestors that Wang Yun mentioned were no match for that person. This made them even more curious about the expert that Wang Yun mentioned. Why had they never heard of such a person before? Similarly, fear was born along with curiosity. It was like a maggot in one's bones, impossible to get rid of. Alas! Wang Yun understood the shock in everyone's hearts very well. Let's not talk about this matter for now. As for how powerful that person is, let's wait for him or Lu Chongtian to come before we know. Previously, Lu Chongtian's cultivation was only at the level of a martial general. Looking at how strong Lu Chongtian is now, if it's really as that person said, that Lu Chongtian can challenge the entire sword sect in 1 year, I'm afraid. Afraid of what? Seeing Wang Yun pause, Ling Jianzi asked curiously. If that's really the case, then our sect is in danger. After all, the dignity of an expert can't be trampled on, and their words can't be changed. Everyone was speechless. Everyone was speechless at Wang Yun's words. At this moment, apart from worry and fear, they didn't show anything else on their faces. All right, let's end this matter here. From now on, everyone should be careful and keep an eye on your disciples. During this period of time, don't cause any trouble. If anyone violates the order this time, there's no need to say anything. Just abolish their cultivation and expel them from the sect. Looking at the elders below, Ling Jianzi continued, it's the same even for your personal disciples. You don't have to plead for leniency, understand? The elders, who understood the seriousness of the matter, nodded obediently. We understand. Ling Jianzi nodded in satisfaction at the response of the junior brothers and then waved his hand. All of you may leave. Don't tell the disciples about this matter first, lest they panic. Yes, we'll take our leave. Go. After everyone said that, they bowed respectfully and turned to leave the main hall, heading to their respective palaces. Of course, apart from Ling Jianzi, Wang Yun was the only one who didn't leave the main hall. Senior brother, although this matter is ultimately based on seeking peace, we can't guarantee that the other party won't stop. In this case, we still have to think about the issue of the inheritance of the disciples. After everyone left, Wang Yun spoke to Ling Jianzi. This was a problem that he had been considering. After all, if the sect was really destroyed, what would happen to the inheritance of the sect? If there was no inheritance of such a huge sect, it would mean that the sect had completely disappeared from this domain and become an inconspicuous grain of sand in the long river of history. Wang Yun didn't want to see this happen. Although the Sword Sect wasn't the strongest sect in the entire domain, it was still a large sect with a legacy of thousands of years. Yes. Junior brother Wang Yun's words make sense. He had also thought about this problem, but he couldn't figure out who exactly should inherit this huge responsibility. In that case, does senior brother sect leader already have someone in mind, or have you thought about what to do? Wang Yun was curious. This Ling Zhenzi didn't deliberately hide anything from Wang Yun. Junior brother, to tell you the truth, although I've thought about this matter, I don't know who to let inherit this inheritance. Although there are many outstanding disciples in the sect, you also understand their thoughts. Not everyone is like this, but it's possible that there are people from other sects or wealthy families in the secular world, kingdoms, and dynasties among them. There are many ancient books in the sect. If they are passed to the secular world, you can imagine what kind of disaster it will bring. Hearing this, Wang Yun fell silent. He understood the importance of this. After all, if the sect's cultivation method was obtained by the royal family of a secular kingdom or dynasty, they would use the cultivation method to create an army of cultivators. In the end, the only ones who would suffer would be those weak ordinary people. In this way, the final karma would be counted on the heads of the Sword Sect, and it would never disappear. If that's the case, then... Okay, let's not talk about this matter for now. Wang Yun seemed to want to say something, but he was interrupted by Ling Zhenzi as soon as he opened his mouth. Let's go and meet the three ancestors together. The sooner we let them know about this matter, the better it will be for the Sword Sect. Well, okay. Wang Yun nodded. As for what he wanted to say before, he didn't say it after being interrupted. Let's go, Ling Zhenzi said. Then, his figure turned into a stream of light and disappeared on the spot. Wang Yun was stunned for a moment before he came back to his senses and chased after him. At this moment, the two of them didn't know that just as they were thinking about how to solve this matter, the thing in person they were most afraid of had already arrived. Not far from the Sword Sect, in a city called Dream Cloud City, Lu Changtian was sitting by the window in a restaurant in the city. There was a hesitant expression on his face. Regarding the task Lin Rei gave him, to be honest, he was really unwilling to start a massacre. After all, those people didn't have any deep hatred with the two of them. Even if there was a deep hatred, it wouldn't involve the entire sect. Although the Sword Sect was no longer a lofty existence in his heart after he met Lin Rei, the Sword Sect didn't usually do all kinds of evil. They also didn't condone their disciples to bully men and tyrannize the world, kill people and rob them. Toward such a sect, he couldn't do it. However, he couldn't disobey his master's orders. If he disobeyed the first task Lin Rei gave him because of this matter, then it would be a little unreasonable. F***ck, so annoying. He grumbled. Then, he picked up the wine on the table and took a big gulp. He raised his hand and sent out a spiritual seal. A paper crane formed by spiritual energy floated in the air. Seeing the paper crane form, a smile appeared on his face. As expected, Master's cultivation method is too powerful. I'm afraid that even ordinary martial emperors can't do this. Lu Changtian was wrong about this. It wasn't that ordinary martial emperors couldn't do it. Even the martial god couldn't condense a spiritual crane. After all, this method was only used by cultivators. As for martial cultivators, they just used the simplest method, which was to use the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to temper their bodies. Even if they could absorb spiritual energy, it was only the origin energy separated from the spiritual energy. Looking at the spiritual crane, Lu Changtian said, Elder Wang Yun, I'm Lu Changtian. I'm currently in Dream Cloud City's Dream Cloud restaurant. Why don't you come and see me if you have time? After saying that, he waved his hand. The spiritual crane turned into a stream of light and rushed toward Wang Yun. Lu Changtian hadn't completely understood the spiritual crane's discovery. Similarly, he didn't know how fast the spiritual crane was. Swoosh! A stream of light streaked across the sky above the Sword Sect. At this time, no one was idle. Even the elders of the sect didn't notice it. At the back mountain of the Sword Sect, Ling Zhenzi flew quickly and rushed toward the forbidden area of the Sword Sect. Junior brother, hurry up, Ling Zhenzi, who was flying for 1,000 years, felt a wave of fluctuation behind him. He turned his head and saw a stream of light rushing down from the sky. It rushed to Wang Yun at a speed that couldn't be followed by the naked eye and stopped in front of her. This is The appearance of this scene shocked Ling Jianzi. What kind of means and what kind of realm was this to be able to do something like this? The spirit crane had flown here to look for Wang Yun, and the sect's grand array did not even put up any resistance. This made him feel very surprised. After all, he was in control of the sect's large array. If there were any changes in the large array, he would be the first to know. But now, the thing in front of him had arrived in front of the two of them, but the sect's large array didn't fluctuate at all. Fortunately, this was a paper crane. If it had been a shrinking cultivator, it would have been terrible. As he thought about it, cold sweat broke out on his forehead. He didn't dare to imagine the consequences of such a phenomenon. This is... Seeing the spiritual crane land in front of him, Wang Yun hesitated. He was wondering if he should catch it, but at the same time, he was afraid of danger. After all, there were very few people in the world who could do this. At the very least, he had never heard of or seen such a person. Elder Wang Yun. I'm Lu Chongtian. I'm currently at the Kai Yun restaurant in Yunmeng City. Why don't you come and see me when you have the time? Just as Wang Yun was hesitating whether to catch it or not, Lu Chongtian's voice exploded in Wang Yun's mind. What? It's really here. Upon hearing this news, Wang Yun's mind buzzed and went blank. He had wanted to put up a defense previously, but he didn't expect it to happen so quickly. Seeing that his junior brother was in a daze, a hint of worry surged in his heart. Junior brother. Junior brother, you're awake. Senior brother, you can go to the patriarch's place by yourself. I have an urgent matter and have to go there. I can't leave. That's all. I'll leave first. After coming back to his senses, he said to Ling Jianzi, who was beside him. Then, he turned around and rushed to the sect's gate as fast as he could. Looking at Wang Yun who disappeared, Ling Jianzi was in a daze. He had mixed feelings in his heart. Although he didn't know why Wang Yun was so anxious, he vaguely guessed that it should have something to do with the spirit crane that appeared just now. I hope nothing bad will happen to him, he prayed in his heart. Then, without thinking too much, he turned around and rushed to his destination again. As for Wang Yun, after receiving Lu Chongtian's message, he rushed to Dreamy Cloud City without stopping for a moment. He didn't dare to stop at all on the way. It was not that he didn't want to, but he couldn't. Because this might be related to the survival of the sect. So, a few hours later, Wang Yun finally arrived at Kai Yun restaurant in Dreamy Cloud City. He walked into the restaurant and glanced at everyone present. Finally, his eyes fixed on Lu Chongtian who was sitting by the window. A smile appeared on his face as he walked over. If someone looked carefully, they would see that behind that smile, there was melancholy and worry. You're here. Sensing that someone was approaching, he turned his head and saw Wang Yun's figure. He smiled and waved his hand to greet him. Nodding his head, Wang Yun sat opposite Lu Chongtian. His eyes fell on the other party. His original expression disappeared and was replaced by shock, and disbelief. How is it possible? Your cultivation. Wang Yun noticed that Lu Chongtian's cultivation was unfathomable to him. Even Lu Chongtian was like an insurmountable mountain in front of him. This was an earth-shaking change from Lu Chongtian a year ago. A year ago, the two of them were in the same realm. At that time, Wang Yun was very confident that he could defeat Lu Chongtian. But now, not to mention defeating Lu Chongtian, Wang Yun felt that Lu Chongtian could kill him with just one finger. This change made Wang Yun feel a little speechless. Of course, there was jealousy, but there was no hatred. After all, this was the result of their own efforts. He did not blame the heavens or the earth. He only wished that he was incapable. Who asked him to be incapable? It's nothing. I'm cultivating with my master. This little improvement is nothing. After all, in my master's eyes, I'm so weak. Lu Chongtian did not lie about this. It really happened. Your master is really strong. At this moment, Wang Yun's heart was in turmoil. He had mixed feelings. It's all right. When he thought of how his cultivation had grown by being tortured, the corner of his mouth twitched slightly, and his expression became unnatural. Let's not talk about it anymore. He did not want to mention Lin Rui anymore. After all, whenever he mentioned Lu Chongtian, he would feel endless hatred. His gaze became serious again. I think you should understand the purpose of my visit this time. A year ago, my master said that he would let me come to the sword sect and destroy it. At that time you thought it was a joke. But now you can see that I'm here, so... Is there no other way? Chapter 1030. He understood the current situation, but he still wanted to fight for it. After all, he didn't see Lin Rei here. At the very least, this was a good sign. No. However, to Wang Yun's disappointment, Lu Chongtian's answer was unexpected. This is Master's decision. I can't go against it, so I'll go back and do it. Of course, for the sake of our past friendship, I can give you a few days to rebuild the sword sect. This is the biggest step I can take now. Looking at Wang Yun, a trace of guilt flashed across his face. I've given you a chance. I hope you can grasp it. Of course, you can stay in the sword sect for the next few days. You can even come here, but the sword sect must be destroyed. Otherwise, I won't be able to answer to Master. Wang Yun fell silent. He understood that these were the best conditions Wang Yun could give. If it were Lin Rei who came here personally, not to mention giving them time, they would be lucky if he didn't destroy them directly. Understanding Wang Yun's depression, Lu Chongtian changed the topic and picked up his glass to chat. Haha, let's not talk about this for now. Let's drink. We haven't seen each other in a long time. How have you been? Recently. Looking at Lu Chongtian, he wanted to say that he was worried because of his arrival, but he knew that it would be inappropriate for him to say that. Nothing much. I've been taking care of things and teaching the disciples cultivation every day. He tilted his head back and drank. A spicy feeling made him temporarily forget the depression in his heart. What about you? You've exhausted so much of your cultivation. I think you must have gone to some incredible place. I remember Senior Lin saying that he would go to the Divine Valley. You guys are, yes. That's right. In response to Lu Chongtian's question, Lu Chongtian didn't hide anything. For the past year, I have indeed been cultivating with Master in the depths of the Divine Valley. Tisktise, that life is still fresh in my mind every day. Thinking about his life in the past year, Lu Chongtian couldn't help but shudder. In his eyes, those days were like the devil's. No, it was even more demonic than the devil's. It was simply not a life that a human should live. Is he really like Kamitani? Originally, Wang Yun had just said it casually, but he didn't expect Lu Chongtian's response to be true. This made him even more shocked. Seiji knew about the Divine Valley. As a place of death, there was probably no one who didn't know about it. As for the rumors about the Land of Death, he was well aware of them. So when he heard that Lin Rei and Lu Chongtian had actually entered Kamitani and were doing so well, he was shocked. Especially when Lu Chongtian's cultivation was so strong, he was even more jealous. After all, everyone wanted to have a strong cultivation. Faced with Wang Yun's surprise, Lu Chongtian seemed to have already prepared for this. Indeed, although there are many rumors about Kamitani, when you enter, you will discover that it is completely different from the outside world. Inside, it can be said that there are dangers everywhere. If you are not careful, you will be torn apart by the monster beasts. Especially after reaching the middle of Kamitani. There, let alone entering the middle of Kamitani, it is troublesome to even pass through the outer area. Listening to Lu Chongtian's words, Seiji really had the impulse to go and investigate. However, there were still things that had not been resolved yet, so he couldn't leave. However, he had already made up his mind. After this matter was over, he must make a trip to Kamitani. Although there were many rumors outside, in order to improve himself, he was willing to go all out. Just like this, Lu Chongtian began to tell Wang Yun everything that happened to him in Kamitani, including how he was ravaged by Lin Rei every day, without missing a single word. Of course, there might be some things that he couldn't say, so he didn't mention it. Wang Yun also understood this, so he didn't ask too much. Time passed as the two talked. The originally scorching sun in the sky dimmed at this moment, and the touch of white on the horizon made the entire bounded domain mysterious. Unknowingly, night came. The night wind was always so cool, causing people's bodies to tremble. Well, Brother Lu, let's end it here today. I have to go back and discuss with Senior Brother Sect Leader. We should deal with it as we wish. After saying that, he stared at Lu Chongtian. Brother Lu, when do you plan to enter my sword sect? Lu Chongtian was silent. To be honest, he hadn't thought of a specific time. After all, he was also very hesitant about this matter. And that's right. As the host, shouldn't you be waiting with good tea? Ha ha ha. Wang Yun's laughter filled the entire room, but if one listened carefully, one could hear the bitterness in his laughter. Okay. Lu Chongtian nodded and responded, since Elder Wang is so hospitable, I must give face and go as soon as possible. After saying that, Lu Chongtian cupped his hands and walked outside. As for Wang Yun, he also stayed in place and didn't leave. Originally, he said that he was going to leave, but before he could react, Lu Chongtian had already disappeared. After watching Lu Chongtian disappear, Wang Yun chose to leave. In the Sword Sect's main hall, Lu Chongtian told Ling Jianzi everything that happened today. Senior brother Sect leader, this is what happened. Today, Lu Chongtian has already said that he will give the South Gate some time. What do you think about this matter? Wang Yun's face flashed with a touch of embarrassment. Well, this matter really needs to be considered carefully. Coincidentally, I went to look for the three ancestors today. Who knew that after going there, I found out that the residence of the three ancestors was covered in dust. Obviously, they haven't come back for a long time. Is that so? Hearing this, Wang Yun frowned, and a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. However, he wasn't too surprised. After all, he didn't have much hope. Then what should we do? In 2 days, Lu Chongtian will arrive. If the ancestors are not here, then our sect will really be destroyed. I see that Lu Chongtian's will is resolute, so this matter might be more serious than we thought. Although I know you have your plans, we still have to speed up the progress of the successor. After all, we are now in a race against time. There is not much time left for us. Well, I understand. Ling Jianzi nodded repeatedly. After all, Wang Yun now had the right to talk about this matter. Well, in that case I'll go first. After saying that, Wang Yun left without looking back. He left the main hall and returned to the main hall where he was to deal with the matter. Of course, the matter he was dealing with was nothing more than telling his disciples to leave the sect and return to their families to cultivate. Without his summons, they were not allowed to return to the sect. Similarly, such a situation occurred in other places of the Sword Sect. Although they didn't want to leave, the disciples under them were innocent. They didn't want these weak disciples to bear the burden with them. In the distant divine world, in the chaos divine realm, there was an endless dark space. Of course, this was a place that was not recorded anywhere in the divine world. It wasn't because he was very mysterious, but because this place had just appeared recently. No one knew about it. The chaos divine realm was in a mountain range in the southeast corner of the 9th region of the divine world. There was nothing in the chaos divine realm, but in the center of the chaos divine realm, a young man was lying in the center. His eyes were closed, his complexion was rosy, and his breathing was smooth. If an unknown person saw him, they would think that the young man was sleeping. However, that wasn't the case. If Ruolin Lei saw the young man's face here, he would definitely jump up in excitement. He would use his soul to leave his body, and then merge his soul into the body of the young man who was lying on an altar. It was because the young man lying on the altar was Lin Rei's original body. System, tell me how long Lin Rei's time is up. Don't forget that Lin Rei doesn't have much time left. He still has to enter the holy world. Moreover, you didn't say that the place you would send Lin Rei to is the age of chaos where spiritual energy is scarce. In the system space, the little dragon woke up from its deep sleep. When it found out about Lin Rei's recent situation, it was furious. This was because Lin Rei's current situation was something it didn't expect. It originally thought that the system would send Lin Rei to a planet with abundant spiritual energy, or at least enough to support Lin Rei's cultivation. However, when it heard that the place the system sent Lin Rei to was actually a planet with an extreme lack of spiritual energy, where even cultivation was a problem, the little dragon was unwilling. Hey, what's wrong? Does your heart ache? The system teased. Nonsense. Doesn't your heart ache? The little dragon asked back. You clearly know that Lin Rei's cultivation method requires the last bit of spiritual energy to be able to cultivate. However, you didn't send Lin Rei to a better planet to cultivate, but you sent him to a place where even birds don't shit. You're afraid that he won't be able to return within the stipulated time and will run over here to be obliterated by the system, right? The more it spoke, the more agitated Lin Rei became. It was very worried about Lin Rei's current situation. It was worried that Lin Rei couldn't eat well, worried that Lin Rei was distressed because of the lack of spiritual energy. As the little dragon who could be said to have single-handedly raised Lin Rei, it was very distressed for the little dragon's current situation. Haha, you. The system laughed. What did I do? You still have the nerve to laugh. The little dragon was furious at the system's behavior. Ha ha ha. The more the little dragon was like this, the happier the system laughed. All right, you don't have to worry about this matter. If Lin Rei can't even overcome this little difficulty, then what will he do in the future? You have to understand, the future Lin Rei will enter that kind of place. That kind of place isn't as good as the place Lin Rei is currently in. Then this matter is still too early. Isn't it a little too early for you to start training Lin Rei after eating? After all, if Lin Rei wants to cultivate to that kind of place, it's impossible without hundreds of thousands of years, or even hundreds of thousands of years. You're a little too early. Is it early? Looking at the little dragon, the system's tone was very decisive. I don't think it's early at all. On the contrary, it's just right for him to start from now. All right. As if not wanting to continue this topic, before the little dragon could finish speaking, it interrupted. You don't have to worry about this matter anymore. If you have the time, you might as well use it to cultivate and recover a bit of your strength. When you really return, you'll have the strength to protect Lin Rei. Now, let this little guy go on his own. As for the mission given by the system, don't worry. With me around, you don't have to worry about the little dragon being obliterated by the system. Hearing this, the little dragon, who was originally filled with dissatisfaction, fell silent and did not refute. All right, do as you see fit. However, you have to remember, nothing can happen to Lin Rei. Otherwise, I won't let you go, even though I know you're very strong. After saying this, the little dragon's figure disappeared. This guy is still as stubborn as before. Looking at the place where the little dragon disappeared, the system said. Then it fell silent. No one knew what had happened in the antediluvian realm of gods. Not even Linley himself knew. In the Divine Valley. Deep in the Divine Valley, Lin Rei was sitting on a mountain peak, looking in the direction of the Sword Sect. A trace of nostalgia flashed across his face. This little guy left. Thinking about it, he should have reached the Sword Sect by now. Probably, but at this time, Xueqi, who was lying behind Lin Rei, spoke. Are you sure that little guy will listen to you and destroy the Sword Sect? Hearing this, Lin Rei looked back at Xueqi with a playful expression. Don't you know that kid? You want him to destroy a sect for no reason. Do you think he can do it? In any case, I don't believe it. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Xueqi was stunned. Then before, you let him. Xueqi was confused by Lin Rei's words. He did not understand what Lin Rei meant. You. Looking at Xueqi's ignorant face, Lin Rei turned into a lecturer and began to speak to Xueqi. The reason I let him go is not to kill people, let alone the entire sect. If he really destroyed the Sword Sect because of my words, I would not hesitate to cripple his cultivation. What? You? Xueqi was stunned. He did not expect Lin Rei to say this. And looking at Lin Rei's serious expression, it did not seem like he was lying. Are you surprised? Lin Rei asked. Yes. Xueqi nodded subconsciously. Actually, there is no need to be so surprised. Of course, killing people is still necessary. After all, they provoked me first. But I only killed 2 or 3 of them. A smile flashed across his face. You are ruthless. Xueqi had thoroughly experienced Lin Rei's treachery today. But thinking about what if Lu Changtian really listened to him and destroyed the Sword Sect, then, what if he really destroyed the Sword Sect and came back to report to you? You are also, not right? Seeing Lin Rei finish his sentence, Xueqi nodded and replied. Yes, you are the one who ordered me to do it. Now that he has completed it, you want to cripple his cultivation. You are also unreasonable. Heh. You must know that I, Linley, want a benevolent and decisive disciple. Right now, I am training him to be benevolent and decisive. If he can't even pass this stage, then there is no need for him to become my disciple. Because he does not have the qualifications. F***ck. At this moment, Xueqi could not help but shiver. He had a new understanding of Lin Rei's treachery. You are too ruthless. Chapter 1031. Really? I think it's okay. After joking, he stopped talking and fell into silence. In response to this, blood Ling Tian quivered, then retreated from Lin Li's body, charging off into the distance. He only had one thought now. He must not offend Lin Rei. Otherwise, he would be killed or on his way to be killed. 4 days passed in the blink of an eye. In Dreamcloud City, Lu Changtian had waited for so many days. To the people of the Sword Sect, he had done his best. Sitting in the restaurant, he raised his head and looked at the people coming and going outside the window. A trace of melancholy flashed across his face. It's time to move around. Thinking that he was about to go to the Sword Sect, his heart was very heavy. After all, he was not going there for sightseeing. He was going there to kill people. Logically speaking, as a cultivator, killing people shouldn't be a big problem for him. However, he was different. After all, he used to be a city lord. It was inevitable that there would be some hurdles in his heart that he couldn't get over. He got up and threw the gold coin to the ground. Then, he walked out of the restaurant and looked at the Sword Sect. Then, he walked toward the Sword Sect. He didn't walk very fast so that he could give the people of the Sword Sect the opportunity and time to do so. What he didn't know was that after he exited the inn, his whereabouts were completely different from the time he was in Sword's Gate. The moment he stepped out of the restaurant, his message was sent out by Shun Jian to the higher-ups of the Sword Sect. At this moment, in the main hall of the Sword Sect, all the elders and sect master of the sect were gathered. However, the scene was different from usual. It was weirder and more depressing. Moreover, each of the elders had a gloomy and worried expression. They were worried and afraid. They were afraid of what would happen to the Sword Sect after Lu Changtian arrived. Would it be the Azura battlefield or hell on earth? Would their Sword's Gate be destroyed just like that? Junior Marshal Brother Xiao, we just received news that Lu Changtian has left the restaurant. I don't think I need to tell you where he is going. You should know, right? We understand. Since that's the case, everyone, how about following me to welcome them at the Myriad Mountain Gates? Although the other party is here to kill, as the elders of the Sword Sect, we naturally cannot lose our hospitality. Everyone nodded in agreement. That's right, we'll listen to senior brother sect leader's arrangements. Seeing that his junior brothers did not refute him, Ling Zhenzi nodded with relief. In that case, come with me. Yes, we will obey. Everyone cupped their hands and followed Ling Zhenzi toward the mountain gate. During the journey, the number of disciples in the Sword Sect decreased significantly. In the past, the disciples of the Sword Sect could be seen sitting together to discuss sword Dao and cultivation, but now, alas. Ling Zhenzi sighed. His face was full of dejection. He had never thought that his Sword Sect would have such a day. Thinking back to the glory of the Sword Sect in the past, it was just a pipe dream. The group moved very quickly and arrived in front of the mountain gate. The 2 disciples who had been guarding the mountain gate were standing upright and doing their duty. When they heard footsteps behind them, the 2 of them turned their heads to look. When the 2 of them turned their heads and saw the appearance of the person who came, they were shocked and hurriedly bowed. Disciple Lu Hai from Guanzhong greets sect leader and elders. Well, you're not bad. Looking at the 2 of them, Ling Zhenzi's expression eased a little. Looking at his disciples, although their cultivation was not satisfactory, he could guarantee that their character was solid. This was also the reason why the Sword Sect was established. The Sword Sect did not care how powerful the sect was. As the saying went, it could accommodate all rivers. The Sword Sect could tolerate your poor talent, but not your bad character. Thank you for your praise, sect leader. Hearing Ling Zhenzi's praise, the 2 disciples' faces bloomed with joy. At this moment, if they were asked to stand here for a few more years or decades, they would probably be able to do it. Well, keep up the good work. After saying that, Ling Zhenzi stopped talking and went out of the mountain gate. He came to a conspicuous open space and waited. Behind him, the 2 of them were stunned when they saw their sect leader and all the elders gathering so many people. Lu Hai, who do you think the sect leader and the elders are waiting for? Guanzhong's voice sounded in Lu Hai's mind. This. He also wanted to know the answer to his companion's question. It was also his first time seeing such a scene. It should be a big shot coming. Thinking about it, Guanzhong did not want to let the other party see that he did not know anything, so he just said casually. However, perhaps even Guanzhong himself had not thought that he had guessed correctly. Time passed by little by little. In the blink of an eye, it was already morning. The person Ling Zhenzi was waiting for still had not come. However, they did not have the slightest dissatisfaction in their hearts. What's going on? Didn't Lu Chongtian leave the dreamy cloud city? Looking at Wang Yun, Ling Zhenzi transmitted his voice. It's reasonable to say that it's only half a day's journey from the dreamy cloud city to here. Moreover, Lu Chongtian has such a high cultivation. Ling Zhenzi's doubts were exactly what he was puzzled about at this moment. Just like what Ling Zhenzi said, it was reasonable to say that with Lu Chongtian's cultivation, he would come here for at most 2 to 4 hours, or even more. Why was there no trace of him now? Could it be that he got lost? This idea was rejected as soon as it was born. It was impossible for Lu Chongtian not to know that Lu Chongtian had come to the Sword Sect in the past. Moreover, he was the one who received him, so it was impossible for him to get lost. Since he was not lost, then why? For a moment, Wang Yun could not figure out Lu Chongtian. While the Sword Sect leader and elders were waiting for Lu Chongtian was sitting on the ground on a mountain peak not far from the Sword Sect. In front of a bonfire, Lu Chongtian held a chicken that was almost roasted in his hand. However, although Lu Chongtian seemed to be roasting the chicken, his eyes had been fixed in the direction of the Sword Sect. Yes, he was stalling for time, trying to buy more time for the Sword Sect. He was soft-hearted. Really, I don't know what Master is thinking. Why did he ask me to come and exterminate the sect? He knows that I used to be the city lord, and I can't stand violence and killing the most. Thinking of the mission Lin Rei gave him, Lu Chongtian was very conflicted. Forget it, let's eat first. We'll talk about it when we reach the Sword Sect. I've already given them so much time, I think they should have left by now. After saying that, the chicken was roasted and he picked it up to eat. If Wang Yun and Ling Zhenzi saw this scene at this moment, they would probably faint from anger. They were a little cold in front of the mountain gate, but he was eating roasted chicken. However, if they knew what Lu Chongtian was thinking, they would not be angered to death. Instead, they would be very grateful. After all, Lu Chongtian was doing this for the sake of the Sword Sect's disciples. The moon was bright and the stars were shining. In the blink of an eye, night came. The sky was shrouded in darkness, and Ling Zhenzi and the others were still waiting quietly. However, at this moment, Ling Zhenzi and the others were no longer as calm as before. Some of them had already begun to complain. Really, if you want to come, then come. If you don't want to come, then don't come. Why are you taking so long? Aren't you just letting us roast over the fire? Yeah, I really don't know what the other party is thinking. Then, one person spoke, followed by another. Ling Zhenzi wanted to say something, but when he thought of the other party's behavior, he acquiesced to their discussion. Among the few people, only Wang Yun did not participate in the discussion. He knew how powerful the other party was, and he also knew that the other party was not coming because of something. Moreover, we were willing to wait, not because the other party suggested it. Now that you can't wait, you're complaining. Are you crazy? These were just Wang Yun's own thoughts. As for why he said it out loud, sorry, was he kidding? If he said it out loud, would he still want to stay in the sect in the future? However, Wang Yun's head was about to explode when he heard everyone's words behind him. For a moment, he couldn't help but shout angrily. Shut up, all of you. If you don't want to wait, go back to your own mountain. No one asked you to wait here. However, since you've chosen to wait, then wait obediently and quietly. Don't keep chattering behind me like a sissy. Aren't you ashamed? As soon as these words came out, the scene instantly fell silent. Behind them, the two people from Guangzhong were shocked when they heard Elder Wang Yun's sudden words. The scene was quiet. Ling Zhenzi, who was at the side, was also stunned by Wang Yun's anger. He didn't expect Wang Yun, who usually looked weak, to be so strong now. Clap, clap, clap. The silence was broken by a sudden round of applause. Not bad. I didn't expect the Sword Sect to be like this. I've learned something today. Just as everyone was in a daze, a teasing voice came from afar. It could be heard that there was a hint in this voice. Ha! The sudden voice pulled everyone back to reality from their daze. They turned their heads and focused their gazes in the direction of the voice. You are. Looking at the smiling young man in the distance, Ling Jianzi subconsciously spoke. However, he regretted it as soon as he spoke. Wasn't this F*King obvious? Why did he ask such a stupid question? Wang Yun, who was at the side, looked at Lu Changtian. After being stunned for a moment, he smiled bitterly. You still came. Yes. I can't help it. I can't disobey my master's orders. Lu Changtian wouldn't do anything to Wang Yun. After all, Lu Changtian was very clear about his character. As for those people who were talking about him just now, it was hard to say. At this moment, the elders of the Sword Sect standing behind Wang Yun could tell from the words of the two that the young man in front of them was the person who came to destroy the sect. They looked at Lu Changtian with curiosity and vigilance. Their gazes began to size up. It's nothing. Why does junior brother Wang Yun seem to be very strong? Middle stage martial general. That's all? Heh, it seems that junior brother Wang Yun is overthinking. He wants to destroy our sword sect with such a cultivation base? He's really delusional. Of course, these words were just in their hearts. They didn't say it out loud. As the saying goes, the older you get, the wiser you are. Leave a way out for yourself in the future. They wouldn't say such desperate words out loud. Ignoring the curious gazes of the crowd, he slowly walked to Wang Yun's side and transmitted his voice. How is it? How many disciples of your sword sect have left? Isn't it time for me to complete my mission? Hearing this, Wang Yun looked troubled. Some of the disciples of the sword sect had left, but some of them were unwilling to leave this scene that was etched in their minds. Why? Wang Yun's hesitation made Lu Changtian's heart skip a beat. A bad premonition surged in his heart. Although the disciples of the sect have left, less than 1/10 of the total number of disciples in the sect are still standing. Tell me, how should we deal with this? As soon as he said this, Lu Changtian knew that he couldn't make a move in today's battle. He originally thought that it would be easier for him to make a move after the disciples of the sword sect had left. But now, although they had left, what was the difference between this and not having them? Thinking about it, he felt that it was very troublesome. He would rather be tortured by Lin Rui. At least this way it was simple and he could be loyal. Why don't we go to the sword sect and sit for a while first? As for this matter, how about we talk about it during dinner? Knowing that Lu Changtian was in a difficult position, Wang Yun quickly spoke up. Well, that's the only way now. Looking at Wang Yun, Lu Changtian knew that he had to roll his eyes. At this moment, he couldn't tolerate it anymore. The disciples had not been evacuated and there were so many people in the sect. If he really made a move to kill a disciple of the sword sect, he was afraid that he would be hunted down by the other sects in the domain and be accused of being an evil cultivator. That's great. Seeing that Lu Changtian was temporarily settled, Ling Jianzi immediately gave Wang Yun a thumbs up. He was getting more and more used to this junior brother of his. At this moment, Wang Yun felt much more relaxed. Lu Changtian didn't pay attention to Ling Jianzi's words. Instead, he followed Wang Yun to the sword sect and disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. Sigh, another one that I can't afford to offend. Ling Jianzi's impression of Lu Changtian had decreased a lot in his heart. Let's go, let's follow them. Seeing that Wang Yun and Lu Changtian's figures had disappeared, Ling Jianzi said to the rest of the junior brothers and then followed them. Soon, the originally bustling entrance of the sect, after everyone had left, the two gatekeepers finally dared to breathe. Damn it, I'm suffocating. Isn't that so? But who was that young man who appeared just now? Why were the sect leader and elders so respectful to him? Even Elder Wang Yun was so respectful in front of Lu Changtian. This question made the two people dumbfounded, and their expressions were full of confusion. Let's not think about it. Who cares who he is, anyway? This matter is not something that we can handle. Well, I agree. The two people nodded at the same time. Then, they no longer had the chance to think about what had happened just now and shifted all their attention elsewhere. In the sword sect, Wang Yun brought Lu Changtian directly to his residence. He thought that the servants would cook, but Lu Changtian didn't expect that the person who cooked in the end was Lu Changtian, a martial cultivator at the martial general level. Are you sure the food you cooked is edible? Lu Chongtian couldn't eat Wang Yun's food. After all, he had never eaten Lu Chongtian's food before. However, Ling Zhenzi was different. Chapter 1032. Senior, let's just wait. Ling Zhenzi suddenly appeared in front of Lin Rui and said, Senior, let's just wait. Seeing Ling Zhenzi's action, Lu Chongtian vaguely understood something and looked at Wang Yun. At this moment, Wang Yun's face was full of smiles. Could it be that the food made by Wang Yun is really that delicious? Lu Chongtian began to feel a little suspicious about this. However, as a foodie, Lin Rui was only curious about the food made by others. Speaking of delicious food, he had eaten a lot at Lin Rui's place. It could be said that he would never get tired of eating it. Now that he thought about it, he really missed the days in the Divine Valley. Although he was abused every day, at least he could eat the most delicious food in the world every day. Hee, Brother Lu, just wait. I will call you when it's done. After saying that, Wang Yun didn't say anything and turned around to leave, leaving Lu Chongtian and Ling Zhenzi in the room. For a time, the room was quiet, and the atmosphere was very strange. Lu Chongtian was fine, but Ling Zhenzi was different. He could feel the pressure coming from Lu Chongtian's body. At this moment, being under the same roof as Lu Chongtian made him feel a little uncomfortable. This feeling had not appeared for a long time. The quiet atmosphere in the room made Lu Chongtian frown. He didn't like this feeling. He looked at Ling Zhenzi and saw that he had been silent for a long time. In the end, he couldn't help but speak. Sect leader Ling, I wonder if you have anything to say? The silent and strange atmosphere was broken by Lu Chongtian. Ling Zhenzi was not very comfortable. Now that he suddenly heard Lu Chongtian's question, he became even more nervous. I say, what do you think of me destroying the Sword Sect? Looking at Ling Zhenzi, Lu Chongtian asked. It's just a chat. Don't be nervous. It's fine. All right. Hearing Lu Chongtian's words, Ling Zhenzi's nervousness subsided a little. Then he spoke his mind. Senior, you actually came to the Sword Sect. I am unwilling to see the destruction of the Sword Sect. However, with your strength before me, no matter what I think, it will still be up to you. However, to put it bluntly, our Swords Gate has always been a law-abiding organization, and we have never done anything that offends the heavens and reason. Even our Swords Gate has a good reputation. Therefore, your arrival is a little out of place. Upon hearing this, Lu Chongtian understood. Of course, he understood what Ling Zhenzi had just said. After all, he used to be the city lord of a city, so he naturally had the reputation of the Sword Sect. That's right, Senior. Furthermore, I don't think it's very rational for us to convict an elder of our sect for wanting to take in a disciple. If the other sects in the heavenly fate realm hear that you single-handedly destroyed an entire sect because of a trivial matter, you can imagine what they would do. Speaking up to this point, Ling Zhenzi paused for a moment and glanced at Lu Chongtian from the corner of his eyes. After seeing Lu Chongtian's usual smile, Ling Zhenzi heaved a sigh of relief and continued speaking. Let's not worry about whether they'll think you're an evil cultivator. Based on your strength alone, they indeed won't allow you to appear. Why? Lu Chongtian asked. Looking at Lu Chongtian, Ling Zhenzi revealed the whole story. Let me ask you, which sect would want to see someone stronger than them? Moreover, that person is a loose cultivator? If I were the sect master or elder of those sects, I would definitely gather the other sects to attack an existence like you who threatens their status. As the saying goes, the tree wants to be still, but the wind won't stop. A tall tree attracts the wind. Hearing this, Lu Chongtian smiled. He had also thought of this idea before. However, when he thought of Lin Rui's strength, he felt relieved. He absolutely believed that if those sects dared to make a move, his master would not sit idly by. If they provoked Lin Rui, it was not certain who would be killed in the end. At this point, Ling Zhenzi felt that the foreshadowing was almost done, so he quickly said, So, Senior, do you think you should reconsider? Haha. I really didn't expect that a dignified sect master would actually set a trap for me. That's amazing. How could Lu Chongtian not understand Ling Zhenzi's intention? To be honest, he didn't want to do this. After all, he wasn't the kind of person who would kill. If it weren't for the mission, he probably wouldn't have come to the Sword Sect. Senior, please forgive me. When Lu Chongtian's smile fell into Ling Zhenzi's eyes, it was very terrifying. He directly stood up and bowed to apologize. Senior, this junior is ignorant. However, this junior just wanted to protect the sect. After all, this is the location of my sword sect for thousands of years. Those disciples are innocent. If they lose their lives because of this small matter, then our sin will be too great. His gaze fell on Ling Zhenzi. I didn't know if it was because of excitement or fear, but his body was trembling. Such a Ling Zhenzi made Lu Chongtian sigh inexplicably. Thinking back to the past, when he hadn't met Lin Rei, when he saw the current Ling Zhenzi, he would probably be trembling like him now. One had to admit that Ling Zhenzi was indeed very good as a sect master. He was always thinking about the sect and its disciples. In a sect, the disciples were the strongest backing and the strongest foundation. If there were no disciples, then no matter how many things there were, it would be useless. In the beginning, he also wanted to enter the sword sect because he had such a philosophy. Unfortunately, he didn't take it seriously at that time. Then tell me, what do you want to do? Looking at Ling Zhenzi, Lu Chongtian said, of course. If I don't kill anyone, it will be a bit unreasonable. After all, this time I came to kill people so. Speaking up to here, Lu Chongtian didn't continue. He believed that as the sect master, even if he didn't say it, the other party should understand his thoughts. Sure enough, after hearing this, Ling Zhenzi's worried expression faded a little, but he still hesitated. He understood Lu Chongtian's meaning. After the conversation just now, he probably understood Lu Chongtian's thoughts. He didn't want to kill people, but it would be unreasonable if he didn't. Therefore he still had to kill people, but not wipe out the whole sect. If that was the case, he only needed to kill the first few people. But, as Huang Zhong's senior martial brother, the headmaster of Swords Gate, he had to sacrifice his own junior martial brother to protect the sect. This made him feel unbearable. Of course he hesitated. Although the elders didn't seem to get along well with each other, they were indeed friends, brothers, companions, and relatives who had grown up together. Now that he had to choose, it was undoubtedly digging his heart out. Don't worry, take your time to choose. I'll give you 3 more days to think about it. If you still haven't made a choice after 3 days, I won't give in no matter what you say. Lu Chongtian understood Ling Zhenzi's hesitation, but, at this moment, he didn't give in. Yes, I understand. Seeing that Lu Chongtian had already said those harsh words, he knew that no matter how hard he tried to persuade him, it would be useless. However, he had to admit that the current situation was already good. After all, there was no need to wipe out the sect or relocate it. But here came the problem. Was he really going to abandon Huang Zhong's brothers, relatives, friends, and family for the sword sect and the disciples of the sword sect? This choice gave Ling Zhenzi a headache. He didn't want to make such a choice. He didn't want his junior brother to suffer any harm, but if he did, the sect would. For a moment, Ling Zhenzi fell silent. Sitting on the chair, his brows were tightly knitted together, and his face was full of hesitation. Haha, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Sect leader Ling, I hope you understand this. After explaining to Ling Zhenzi, Lu Chongtian didn't say anything else. Instead, he released his Grim Reaper perception. Found it. He strode out of the room, leaving Ling Zhenzi alone in a dilemma. He also left the room and walked toward the kitchen. Although he had never been here before, under the effect of his perception, Lu Chongtian came to the kitchen door with ease. Damn, it smells quite good. When he came to the kitchen door and smelled the fragrance coming from the kitchen, Lu Chongtian's appetite was aroused. He had an impulse to rush up and pounce on the food like a hungry tiger. Ahem. Well, Brother Wang, I wonder if you've finished cooking. Lu Chongtian couldn't help but cough softly and say, Wang Yun, who was busy in the kitchen, heard the sound behind him and immediately turned his head. Perhaps it was because of the noise in the kitchen. Wang Yun didn't seem to hear what Lu Chongtian said. Brother Lu, when you came here. Seeing Lu Chongtian, Wang Yun was stunned for a moment before he spoke. As he spoke, Wang Yun didn't forget to look around as if he was looking for Ling Zhenzi's figure. You don't have to look for him. Ling Zhenzi didn't follow me out, and I'm afraid he doesn't have time to eat at this moment. With that, Lu Chongtian walked in openly. The moment he entered the door, his gaze fell on the dishes that had been prepared on the kitchen table. After taking a deep breath, the fragrance of the dishes that filled the air entered Lu Chongtian's nose. Well, indeed. Feeling the impatience from his taste buds, Lu Chongtian smiled. Indeed, he had to admit that Wang Yun's dishes were very good. Of course, compared to Lin Rei's dishes, he preferred Lin Rei's dishes. He wasn't sure about other things, but he absolutely had this confidence. This was what it meant to say that this dish only existed in heaven and was rarely seen in the human world. Although Wang Yun's dishes were very fragrant, he still felt that Lin Rei's dishes were more flavorful. Ignoring Wang Yun behind him, Lu Chongtian continued to eat. If Lin Rei was here, he would have directly slapped him. Wang Yun, who was looking at the side, was full of doubts at this moment. He knew that his senior brother Ling Jianzi liked his dishes the most. It was impossible, but he hadn't started yet. He wanted to investigate, but when he thought that Lu Chongtian was still here, he immediately dismissed this idea. *******. Lu Chongtian's voice suddenly sounded, but because his mouth was stuffed, Wang Yun didn't understand a single word he said. He turned around and looked over with a puzzled gaze. However, when his gaze fell on Lu Chongtian, he accidentally glanced at his food. ******. Suddenly, Wang Yun cursed, and his face turned red. That. As if he understood what Wang Yun meant, Lu Chongtian touched his head and said embarrassedly, "I'm really sorry, I didn't eat so, however your dishes are indeed delicious, so I couldn't help but eat. Eat a little more." "You." Hearing Lu Chongtian's words, Wang Yun rolled his eyes and said angrily, You call that eating a little more? I obviously ate all of it." Raising his hand and pointing at the plate that was already full, Wang Yun was dumbfounded. He didn't expect Lu Chongtian to like eating so much. Seeing Wang Yun looking at him strangely, Lu Chongtian felt uncomfortable. "Well, let's not talk about this for now. I have something to discuss with you." "What is it?" Seeing Wang Yun's response, Lu Chongtian was delighted. He knew that he had successfully changed the topic and diverted Wang Yun's attention. "I have 2 missions this time." At this moment, Lu Chongtian couldn't help but become serious. He was no longer as frivolous as before, and everything he did seemed to be a joke. Sensing the change in Lu Chongtian, Wang Yun felt how unusual the next thing was for Lu Chongtian to be like this. "The first mission is to come to the Sect to fulfill the promise back then and exterminate the Sect. I know about this." Next. Not wanting to hear about this matter, Wang Yun directly skipped over it. "The second mission is to go to the Lin family and see if there's any trouble in the Lin family. If there is, we'll solve it together to prevent future trouble." Lin family? Hearing this, Wang Yun was energized. "Yes, the Lin family. You mean that Senior Lin Rei is really the grandson of the Master Lin of the Lin family who has been in a coma for 8 years? Wang Yun was shocked. Although he had heard about it before, he thought it was a joke. After all, if it was true, then Lin Rei was only 15, 16, or 18 years old when he left home. He had such a powerful cultivation at such a young age. This made him feel that his worldview, values, and outlook on life had been completely overturned. "Let's not talk about this matter anymore. What I mean is that you can use this matter to make up for it. Of course, I still have to kill people, but I'll kill the source. Your sword sect will also remain intact. As for those disciples, I can't be bothered to care about them. What do you think?" "I think it's very good." As soon as Lu Chongtian finished speaking, Wang Yun's voice sounded immediately. The excitement in his voice could not be suppressed, and he smiled. This smile was very relaxed, without the heavy feeling from before. "Yes." Seeing Wang Yun like this, Lu Chongtian smiled and continued, "What do I mean? I want to let the disciples of the Lin family enter the sword sect to cultivate, and the sword sect will also send a few experts to oversee the Lin family. They will also announce to the outside world that the sword sect and the Lin family are inseparable. Thinking about it, those arrogant people will not find trouble with the Lin family anymore. Of course, if they do, they will definitely be strong enemies. They will be so strong that even your sword sect is no match for them." Chapter 1033. Looking at Wang Yun, a smile appeared on Lu Chongtian's face. "Of course, this will also benefit your sword sect. At the very least, I won't do anything to the sword sect. If your sword sect joins forces with the Lin family, I think your sword sect will be in trouble. Perhaps my master will help." As soon as Lu Changtian said this, Wang Yun's face was full of excitement. The Sword Sect was most worried about Lin Rei's anger. If they had the Lin family as a burden, the Sword Sect would be fine, and the Sword Sect would also have Lin Rei as a layer of protection. Thinking of this, how could Wang Yun not be excited? If a sect had the backing of a powerhouse like Lin Rei, it could be said that the sect's future prospects would be very promising. Just like in a small place like the Yen country, the Sword Sect wanted to develop. However, because there weren't many powerhouses in the sect and they didn't have a particularly strong foundation compared to those forces, they could only hide in a small place. If it was like what Lu Changtian said, with Lin Rei as a layer of protection, it could be said that everything was ready to develop the sect in the future. Just thinking about it made him excited. If he really succeeded, then the scene. For a moment, Wang Yun seemed to have seen the direction of success. He also saw the Sword Sect standing at the peak of the Destiny realm, and the thousands of sects below had submitted. The scene was magnificent and pleasing to the eye. On the side, Wang Yun, who was watching, had a silly smile on his face. Lu Changtian was stunned and rolled his eyes. I say, what are you thinking about? It's not even set in stone yet, and you're already thinking about those things. You're really good. Although he didn't know what Wang Yun was thinking, he was sure that he was thinking of some unrealistic fantasies. When Lu Changtian's voice pulled him back to reality, he felt awkward. He coughed twice and scratched his head in embarrassment. Tell me, what should we do? Wang Yun was serious. After all, this was a major matter that concerned the sect. Hey you! Seeing Wang Yun's expression change faster than flipping a book, Lu Changtian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. After the matter here is over, you will come with me to the Lin family. When the time comes, you can explain your purpose for coming. As for the rest, it's up to me. Then, thank you very much. If this matter succeeds, then you will be the great benefactor of my sword sect. Yes, that's right, great benefactor. Lu Changtian was completely speechless at Wang Yun's words. What great benefactor? He didn't even know what to say when he returned. However, he didn't have the time to think about this now. After all, this was the only way to protect the Lin family without exterminating the entire sect. After all, he had to leave eventually. Moreover, he knew the Lin family situation when he was still the city lord, so, alright, that's all for now. I'll go back first. Lu Changtian walked out of the door. Oh right. He seemed to have thought of something and suddenly stopped at the door. I've only given you enough time. As for that matter, you can consider whether to hand over the source of the matter, Huang Zhong. After saying that, Lu Changtian didn't stay any longer. He took a step out and disappeared from Wang Yun's sight. Wang Yun's excitement disappeared. He was just thinking about something good and forgot about the important matter. Thinking of what Lu Changtian said before he left, he fell silent. He really couldn't do it to hand over Huang Zhong. Although he didn't have a good relationship with Huang Zhong, he was a member of the sect, after all. Moreover, he was an elder of the sect. If he were to hand him over, the sect would lose a part of its strength. In an instant, good things and bad things came together, which put Wang Yun in a difficult position. In the starry sky, the three of them had also encountered the most dangerous thing in their lives. A space-time storm. This was what the three of them didn't want to encounter the most. Previously, they were praying that they wouldn't encounter it. But after a short while, a space-time storm that left them helpless appeared. In front of them, a shocking pressure slowly approached. Now it was moving slowly in space. The three of them tried to escape, but the surroundings were extremely spacious. Besides, ever since the uncontrollable storm appeared, the surrounding space seemed to be confined by a mysterious force. They could only move forward, and the path of retreat behind them was controlled by the energy. As the saying went, there was a wolf in front and a tiger behind. At that moment, the three of them were facing such a situation. What made them feel the most despair was that the uncontrollable storm had sealed off the surrounding space. Yes, they could only move forward. Ahead of them, an uncontrollable storm in the form of a tornado appeared. Some of the surrounding star fragments and planets were instantly destroyed after coming into contact with the uncontrollable storm, leaving not even a speck of dust behind. The appearance of this scene stunned the three of them. An unprecedented fear filled their bodies. However, it was fortunate that the three of them had always been by Lin Rei's side. After encountering such a situation, apart from being filled with fear, they didn't do anything particularly embarrassing, such as peeing their pants or collapsing on the ground to wait for death. Looking ahead, the uncontrollable storm was getting closer and closer. Lin Tian's heart was filled with desolation. I didn't expect that I, Lin Tian, would die here. With a self-deprecating laugh, the days he had spent with Lin Rei flashed through his mind. He thought of the scene when he was bought back by Madame, and the scene after Lin Rei brought him into the cultivation world. The most important scenes of his life flashed through his mind like a movie. Young master, I wanted to bring you back, but now it seems that I can't do it now. Thinking that he was about to die, he wanted to go to Lin Rei's side even more. This was because his wish was that even if he died, he wanted to die by Lin Rei's side. Because Lin Rei was his only family. His only family. On the side, Ying and Bing didn't know what Lin Tian was thinking. Of course, even if they knew, they wouldn't say anything. After all, they were helpless in the face of the uncontrollable storm. Although they were already saints, in the face of an uncontrollable storm, even saints with Tao fruit like them were useless. In the face of such a powerful existence, there was nothing they could do other than escape. Because even if they wanted to escape, they couldn't. Husband, what should I do? How can I escape from here and safely reach the space where you are, meet you and see you? Husband, I haven't seen you for the last time yet. I don't want to. The two women began to miss the days when they were with Lin Rei. Unfortunately, these were just thoughts. In the face of an uncontrollable storm, they had never heard of anyone who could escape from such a level of existence. Of course, there were some, but the probability of such a thing happening was very small. At the very least, they had never heard of it. Whoosh, whoosh. A gust of wind mixed with the spirit energy of heaven and earth swarmed over. Fortunately, the three of them had decent cultivation. Otherwise, who is it? Who dares to hurt him? When he looked up, he saw a fat man with a fat head and big ears. It's you. You hurt him? When Lin Rei saw the fat man, he already recognized him. It was Lin Ergu, who had slapped his predecessor to death. Oh, isn't this our great genius, young master? You're not dead yet. Heh. Hearing Lin Ergu's words, the corners of Lin Li's mouth naturally curled up, revealing an expression as if he was looking at a fool. However, from beginning to end, Lin Li's eyes revealed a callous and ice-cold look. Yes. Lin Ergu originally wanted to tease and humiliate Lin Rei. However, when he saw Lin Rei's eyes, Lin Ergu's feet unconsciously took a step back. What's going on? When did this brat's eyes become so terrifying? Moreover, his temperament has also changed. It's only been a few days since we last met. But when he saw Lin Li's level of cultivation, that foot, which had been forced to take a step backwards in fright, came back to him. Humph, little bastard. It seems that the lesson I taught you a few days ago was in vain. Since that's the case, I'll let you know my rules today. Come, beat me. Upon hearing Lin Ergu's words, the people who had followed him in immediately charged forward, throwing punches at Lin Li, who was lying on the bed. Humph, a group of dog slaves who don't care about their lives. I think you've forgotten the rules of the family. You're just insignificant slaves. Since you want to offend your superiors, don't you want to live anymore? Do you really think that I, the second young master of the family, am someone you can hit whenever you want? Just when the three people were staring at the uncontrollable storm in front of them, the two people didn't notice that beside them, Lin Tian's face was gloomy and ferocious. Lin Tian's eyes were fixed on the front, and a trace of killing intent flashed in his eyes. It seemed that the killing intent of Lin Tian was so strong that it alarmed the two people beside him. Feeling the killing intent beside them, the two people's hearts were full of doubts. They turned their heads and saw that Lin Tian's body was wrapped in a special force at this moment. What's going on? Feeling that the situation today wasn't very good, they turned their heads to look at Bing and asked curiously. No, I don't know this. Staring at Lin Tian, the two people fell into deep thought. At this moment, only Lin Tian himself knew what kind of situation he was in. At this moment, in front of Lin Tian's eyes, a familiar and infuriating scene appeared in front of Lin Tian. It was none other than the scene when they were in the Celestial Wonders world, when the two people of the Lin family were bullied. Seeing that scene, Lin Tian really wanted to rush in and kill all those who bullied Lin Rei. The scene continued. After hearing Lin Rei's words, The few people who were about to attack suddenly stopped in midair and turned their heads to look at Lin Ergu with a troubled expression. Humph. Lin Rei, stop pretending. Who in the entire Lin province doesn't know that you're just a concubine's son? And the most important thing is that when you were born, the head of the family found someone to test your talent. In the end, the result was that you didn't have the qualifications to cultivate. The head of the family has already given up on you. Now you want to use that identity to suppress me? Do you think it's possible? When Lin Ergu mentioned Lin Rei's sore spot, he had a proud smile on his face. But when he saw Lin Rei's expression, Lin Ergu was stunned. Ha ha. Lin Rei looked at Lin Ergu's expression and laughed without restraint. He laughed very calmly. What are you laughing at? Seeing Lin Rei laugh, Lin Ergu panicked and frowned in confusion. Humph, I'm laughing at you. Humph, I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at how naive you are. Even if I'm not talented in cultivation, so what? I have the title of the second young master of the Lin clan. As long as I have this title, you have no right to touch me. Of course, unless you disregard the rules of the clan, but if you do, your cultivation and even your life will be gone. At this point, Lin Rei couldn't help but look in Lin Ergu's direction. He wanted to see Lin Ergu's expression and actions. He was afraid that Lin Ergu would notice something wrong. If that was the case, then he would be in trouble today. But after seeing Lin Ergu's expression just now, Lin Rei heaved a sigh of relief. Humph, little bastard. You're lucky today. We'll see. Don't let me see you in the future, or I'll let you know the consequences of offending me today. Let's go. After Lin Ergu said a few threatening words to Lin Rei, he waved his hand at his subordinates and left. But before he left, he didn't forget to kick Lin Tian. The moment Lin Ergu walked out, Lin Li's face instantly turned gloomy. If you looked carefully, you would see that Lin Li's fingernails had already dug into his flesh, and blood was flowing out from the wound. However, Lin Li didn't seem to see it. He just kept staring at the door with a gloomy face, and his eyes were already bloodshot. After a while, Lin Rei finally recovered and looked at Lin Tian apologetically. He didn't expect that he would implicate Lin Tian. Cough, cough, cough. At this moment, Lin Tian woke up from his coma. Lin Rei didn't know if he woke up because of the pain or because he woke up on his own. But the most important thing now was to heal Lin Tian's injuries. Lin Rei moved his body and found that it was no longer painful. He quickly got up from the bed and slowly walked to the side of Lin Tian, who was lying on the ground moaning in pain. Little Tian, I'm sorry. Lin Rei apologized to Lin Tian with a guilty heart. His tone was very sincere. Cough, cough, young master, what are you doing? You don't have to apologize to me. Lin Tian saw his young master apologizing to him. Moreover, Lin Tian clearly saw the apology in Lin Rei's eyes. Suddenly, Lin Tian felt that the pain he suffered was no longer a big deal. Sigh, it's all my fault. If it weren't for my incompetence, you wouldn't have been injured. If it weren't for my incompetence, they wouldn't have looked down on us. Even my so-called biological father is the same. I've only seen him once or twice since I was born. He's my biological father. Speaking until here, Lin Rei didn't continue because he didn't know what to say. The words just now were all left in the memory of the predecessor. Lin Rei took this opportunity to say it all at once. This way, it wouldn't affect his mood in the future. Young master, let me help you up. Your condition just got a little better. You can't sit on the ground anymore. Otherwise, it won't be good if your condition worsens. After speaking, Lin Tian wanted to stand up. But when he stood up halfway, his vision suddenly turned black. Lin Tian's whole body fell towards Lin Rei. Fortunately, Lin Rei's eyes were sharp and his hands were fast. Otherwise, he might not have been able to catch Lin Tian. Oh, this silly child. You are so sick, but you still want to help me up. Bastard, what the hell is going on? Today, he was very clear that the scene in front of him wasn't real. But he couldn't get out of this state. Chapter 1034. Lin Tian's Dao heart, which was as firm as a rock, began to waver as he watched the events of the past play out in front of him. The desire to rush in and kill instantly ignited Lin Tian's heart. Why is this happening? No, you bastards. You can't do this to my young master, you You all deserve to die. All of you deserve to die. All of you die for this emperor. Die. In the eyes of Ying and Bing, Lin Tian was standing in the air. He was like a madman who was squandering everything around him. A long spear had appeared in his hand, and he was using all the skills and techniques he had learned in his life. World Piercer. Azura Palm. Battle techniques appeared one after another, and his magnificent performance left the two women dumbfounded. This situation had happened too suddenly, and for a moment, the two women were thrown into disarray and began to worry. They had never treated Lin Tian as their subordinate, but rather as family. This wasn't just Lin Rei's idea, but also their own. What's Lin Tian doing? The two women were filled with confusion, but they knew that Lin Tian must have encountered something unpredictable. The moment this thought appeared, a faint smile spread from Lin Tian's body. The two women's hearts sank as they looked at Lin Tian. Oh no, this guy can't have triggered his inner demons at this time, right? Ying had never encountered such a situation before. In her world, breaking through cultivation wasn't difficult, but she had no experience with such things. I don't think so. Bing was the same, and she didn't dare to be sure. Of course, only he knew what was going on. He understood his current situation, but he couldn't get out of it. Bastard, you're actually taking advantage of this situation. That's enough, Lin Tian muttered to himself as he sensed his Dao heart wavering and his inner demons growing. If Ruo Lin Lei were here, seeing Lin Tian in this state, he probably wouldn't just stand by and watch. He might even use all the forces he could mobilize to help Lin Tian. As for Lin Tian's inner demons, if possible, Lin Rei would personally destroy them to ensure Lin Tian's safety. Sure, now that Lin Rei wasn't here, everything could only be resolved by Lin Tian himself. You're awake. Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? If you do, tell me. Don't hold it in. Seeing that Lin Tian had awoken, Lin Li immediately went forward and asked worriedly. He didn't want his first friend to die in front of him. Young master, I feel much better. Lin Tian was about to get off the bed, but before he could do so, he was stopped by Lin Rei. Little Lin Tian, it seems like even you don't listen to me. Lin Rei quickly put on an unhappy face and looked at Lin Tian. No, young master. It's just that this is young master's bed. As a servant, how can I sleep on my master's bed? Hearing Lin Tian's words, Lin Rei was instantly unhappy. What servant? When mother was still alive, she wanted to take you in as a foster son, but she passed away before she could. Moreover, I've never seen you as a servant. In my heart, you've always been my younger brother and my only family. Woo-woo, young master, it's enough to hear your words. Even if I die now, I'll be satisfied. Haha, what death? We still have a long way to go. Along the way, I want you to be the witness of me becoming strong. Not only me, you have to become strong too. That way, won't you be able to follow me forever? Seeing Lin Tian crying again, Lin Rei quickly comforted him. Yes, I won't cry. I'll definitely follow in young master's footsteps and become strong. That way, I'll be able to follow young master forever. Lin Rei didn't know that because of his words, he had created a giant in the future world. Of course, this was a story for another time. Come, eat this first. If you don't heal yourself, I'm afraid you'll be finished. After saying so, Lin Rei took out a healing medicinal pill from his inventory and handed it to Lin Tian. However, Lin Tian didn't hesitate. He took the medicinal pill and swallowed it. A moment later, Lin Tian's injuries healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a few minutes, all of Lin Tian's injuries were healed. At this moment, Lin Tian, who had sensed all of this, was very surprised. He had never seen this kind of medicinal pill before, especially one with such a strong recovery ability. What made Lin Tian even more surprised was that this medicinal pill was actually taken out by his young master. When Lin Rei saw Lin Tian's expression, he couldn't help but tease Lin Tian. Haha, what's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that? Don't you recognize me? No, young master. I just didn't expect you to have such a miraculous medicinal pill. Moreover, I noticed that ever since young master woke up, your aura has completely changed. If I hadn't been by your side all this time, I wouldn't have dared to recognize you. Hearing Lin Tian's words, Lin Li was at a loss for words. He didn't know what to say. Little trash, Come out. My young master is here. Just as the atmosphere became extremely awkward, a very uncoordinated voice sounded. All right. Linley frowned, then stood up and walked towards the door. It's you again. Just what do you want? When Lin Ray arrived at the door, he immediately saw Lin Ergu, who had just left not long ago. He was accompanied by a group of people, the most conspicuous of which was the young man leading the group. Oh, it's only been a few days since we last met. Cousin, your words have become so unyielding? Moreover, I heard that you threatened my subordinates and said that they would be punished by the clan's rules if they beat you up. Is this real? The young man asked Lin Ray with a face full of disdain. Lin Ji, just what are you trying to do? No matter what, I'm still your clan's brother, your elder. What? I helped you teach a few people a lesson, and now you're causing trouble at my place. Humph, you want to be my elder? Why don't you take a piss and look in the mirror? What qualifications do you have? You're just a concubine's bastard, and you don't even have the slightest talent for cultivation. The clan's head has already abandoned you, yet you still shamelessly call yourself the second young master. The person who spoke was called Lin Ji, Lin Ray's clan's younger brother. When the young man heard Lin Ray's words, his face instantly turned gloomy, and a thick murderous aura burst out. It seemed that he had the impulse to immediately go up and kill Lin Ray. Haha, Lin Ji, I won't say anything else. Let's just talk about my bloodline. Regardless of whether the clan's head recognizes me or not, no matter what, I'm still his son. Do you think that he would allow his son to be humiliated and bullied by a servant of the clan? After hearing Lin Ray's words, Lin Ji choked back the words that were about to come out of his mouth. The expression on his face was extremely rich. However, after listening to Lin Ray's words, Lin Ji calmed down and carefully thought about it. It really was the case. No matter what, Lin Ray was still the son of the clan's head. Thinking of this, Lin Ji suddenly revealed a cruel smile and stared at Lin Ray. Then, according to what you said, my servant can't teach you a lesson, but I, as the master, can teach you a lesson. After saying this, Lin Ji suddenly moved. Boom! The floor under Lin Ji's feet was shattered by the force that leaked out from Lin Ji's body. Haha, go to hell for me. I don't believe that the clan's head will punish me for a trash like you. Seeing that Lin Ji's fist was about to hit Lin Ray, Lin Tian, who was standing beside him, moved. In a flash, Lin Tian appeared in front of Lin Ray. Looking at Lin Ji's fist, Lin Tian didn't panic or fear. Instead, he had a determined expression that wholeheartedly wanted to protect Lin Ray. I won't allow you to hurt my young master. Lin Tian, who said this, looked at Lin Ji with a murderous gaze. Haha, so loyal. Since you want to die, then die. However, your young master will immediately come to find you. Don't worry. Ha! Looking at the murderous aura emitting from Lin Ji's fist, Lin Tian turned his head and smiled at Lin Ray. Young master, I'm sorry. I can't serve you anymore. After saying this, Lin Tian seemed to have accepted his fate. He closed his eyes and waited for Lin Ji's fist to come. However, after waiting for a while, he didn't feel anything. So he opened his eyes and saw a hand coming out from his face and grabbing Lin Ji's fist. Haha, little Tian, you want to die so much. But I, your young master, haven't made you strong yet. How can you die? Hearing Lin Ray's voice coming from behind, Lin Tian's figure slowly appeared in front of Lin Ray. Young master. Lin Tian cried. Seeing the scene play out in front of him again, it could be said that Lin Tian experienced that incident again. If it weren't for Lin Ray's protection, he would have become a ghost at Lin Ji's hands back then. If it weren't for Lin Ray's unwavering loyalty, how could there be the God Emperor Lin Tian today? How could there be his current glory? If it weren't for Lin Ray's teachings, how could there be Lin Tian leading the entire Heavenly Secrets Pavilion? If it weren't for Lin Ray's existence back then, he wouldn't have become the Pavilion Master of the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion, a title that struck fear in the entire God realm. Thinking about everything Lin Ray had given him, his heart was filled with gratitude. Young master, bastard. You bastards, you dare to attack my young master, you. Lin Tian's inner demons flourished more and more. Because of the knot in his heart, because of his incompetence, and because of the past. What should we do? How about, don't act recklessly. The inner demons aren't something we can interfere with. If we aren't careful and encourage the growth of Lin Tian's inner demons, I'm afraid Lin Tian will be in danger. Upon hearing Bing's words, Ying didn't wait for him to finish his sentence and quickly interrupted. Then what should we do? Are we just going to watch? Bing was anxious. With the spatial storm in front of them, Lin Tian was in such a situation. This was the first time such a situation had happened. At that moment, the two of them really hoped that their husband, Lin Rui, would appear. Sigh, if only our husband was here. He has the most solutions. Perhaps he can solve this problem. Yeah, it's a pity. Thinking about how their husband was nowhere to be found, they became even more anxious. TSK, TSK, TSK. Not bad. I didn't expect you to hold on for so long. Just as Lin Tian glared at the mirror image in front of him, a provocative and mocking voice sounded from behind. Lin Tian was very familiar with that voice. Wasn't that his own voice? Turning around, Lin Tian lifted his head with blood-red eyes. The moment he saw the person behind him, he froze on the spot, looking at the person in front of him with a doubtful and puzzled gaze. Knowing what Lin Tian was thinking, the man who looked exactly like Lin Tian sneered. What's wrong? You don't recognize me? That's true. I've always lived in the deepest part of your heart. Of course, you shouldn't know of my existence. The man was mocking himself and also seemed to be telling Lin Tian his pain. I am you and you are me. But, seeing Lin Tian's hesitation, the young man who looked exactly like Lin Tian changed his expression and a cold, murderous intent flashed across his face. Immediately. As long as I kill you, I can immediately become Lin Tian, a Lin Tian that belongs to me, and not the cowardly and weak Lin Tian who has always lived under Lin Rui's wings. Hearing the other party's words, Lin Tian knitted his brows and a look of displeasure flashed across his face. After hearing the other party's words, he also understood what the other party was. An inner demon. Yo, you're not stupid. But, soon you won't be. The inner demon didn't seem surprised that Lin Tian guessed his identity. I didn't expect that the emperor would have an inner demon at this time. Looking at the inner demon, he couldn't help but think of what Lin Rui once said to him. Little Tian, although the cultivation method I gave you is top-notch and you won't have an inner demon for a while, nor will you have some powerful lightning tribulations, but once the cultivation method breaks through to the divine realm, at any time. Remember, an inner demon will be born at any time, and the power of the inner demon is very strong. At the same time, there is also a heavenly tribulation accompanying the inner demon. After the inner demon comes the heavenly tribulation of breaking through to the divine realm. Only after you get rid of all of them will your future cultivation path be smooth and unobstructed. These words rang in Lin Tian's heart. It seemed that what Lin Rui said at that time was the current situation, but he didn't expect it to be at this time and in this state. Sigh, it's because I'm not determined enough. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. Thinking of the mirror image that appeared in front of him just now, Lin Tian felt nothing but self-blame. I'll give you two choices. The inner demon spoke. First, I kill you and let the emperor inherit everything you have. Then you will disappear completely. Second, you give up your physical body and let the emperor merge with me. What do you think? No matter which of these two choices Lin Tian chose, he would disappear from this world completely. Faced with this choice, Lin Tian snorted with disdain. He looked up at the inner demon and said, I really don't know where you get your confidence from. Do you think that you, the inner demon, can defeat the emperor? You don't think so? I don't think it's possible. You're living in the gutter and you want to inherit the emperor's physical body. Don't you think this is ridiculous? Chapter 1035. In response to Lin Tian's words, the inner demon snorted and didn't reply. However, its expression was even more cold-blooded than before. It could even be said that it was hideous. The inner demon was the other side of a person. It represented evil, murderous, and ruthless. After being suppressed by the good side of a person for a long time, one's heart would become distorted. Now, after hearing Lin Tian's words, the inner demon's desire to kill Lin Tian became even stronger. Let's wait and see. The inner demon's cold voice entered Lin Tian's ears. All of a sudden, Lin Tian's body shook. He was stunned and quickly retreated. He held the spear in front of his chest and looked at the inner demon with vigilance. He circulated his martial arts and secretly activated the universal spear art. As long as the inner demon dared to make a move, he would definitely kill it with thunderous means without hesitation. He had to admit that today's idea wasn't bad. Unfortunately, he seemed to have forgotten that eliminating the inner demon wasn't something that could be done with words. It required a person with great perseverance to do so. Even if Lin Rei was here, he wouldn't dare to say that he could eliminate the inner demon. Even the ancient sages didn't think of eliminating the inner demon when they faced it. They knew the price of eliminating the inner demon. Therefore, they only thought of suppressing it. Swish! The inner demon moved. In a flash, it disappeared from the spot and turned into a black ray of light like a black meteor streaking across the sky. Universal Spear Art. One spear to break all spells. Since the inner demon moved, Lin Tian naturally moved as well. He activated the universal spear art that was brewing in his mind. Numerous shadows of spears appeared in front of Lin Tian. They were densely packed and there was a huge number of them. Humph! You might have forgotten that I am your inner demon. What you replied to me, I can do too. Universal spear art. One spear to break all spells. In the distance, Lin Tian's heart skipped a beat when he heard the inner demon's words and the scene of the inner demon displaying the universal spear art. He had forgotten about this. Bang! A muffled sound rang out, and Lin Tian was pulled back to reality by this rumbling sound. He raised his head and saw that the inner demons were right in front of him. The universe spear art that the two of them had used collided, and a pressure that was even stronger than a nuclear explosion surged out in all directions from the two of them. Retreat quickly! Lin Tian's expression changed when he sensed a terrifying pressure coming from the direction where Lin Tian was. He said to Bing, who was beside him, and retreated. This guy, as a sage, Bing's reaction speed was surprisingly fast. When he heard Ying's reminder, he quickly retreated while complaining to Lin Tian. However, when he thought about what Lin Tian was going through, he felt relieved. After all, when facing a disgusting existence like the inner demon, if he didn't use all his strength and focus, he might really die. Bang! Clang! The sound of weapons colliding rang out. The spear shadows of the universal spear art that Lin Tian and the inner demon had used before had all disappeared. The two of them were now close to each other. The two spears collided, and another wave of battle swept out in all directions with the two of them as the center. You are very strong. Looking at the inner demon, Lin Tian had the guts to praise him. Truth, he didn't lie to him. Lin Tian really felt that the inner demon was very strong. Although they had only exchanged one blow, Lin Tian could feel that if he didn't use all his strength, he would only be devoured by the inner demon and become a complete killing machine. You don't have to tell me. The inner demon seemed to be in a good mood after hearing Lin Tian's praise. At the same time, his murderous aura became stronger, and his desire to kill Lin Tian became stronger. Go to hell. Since you admit that I am strong, why don't you give me your body so that I can replace you and become the supreme expert? Isn't that good? With that, the inner demon waved the spear in his hand and constantly bombarded Lin Tian. His hand speed also became faster and faster as time passed. Hey, come on, let me see how strong you are. At this moment, Lin Tian seemed to have become a battle maniac. He had completely entered a state of madness. At this moment, both of them increased their hand speed. In an instant, their figures began to become dreamy and illusory. On the side, watching the battle between Lin Tian and the inner demon enter such a state, Ying and Bing were speechless. They couldn't help but admire this battle state. In a trance, Ying and Bing saw the figure of their husband in Lin Tian. Of course, this thought didn't last long. In comparison, Linley's battle state was more berserk. In comparison, Linley was like a berserk demon, while Lin Tian was only on the verge of going berserk. He hadn't gone completely berserk yet. I don't know who will win in the end. Of course it will be Lin Tian. Ying responded to Bing's doubts without thinking. Lin Tian was personally taught by our husband. Do you think the inner demon can defeat him? In Ying's heart, Lin Rei was omnipotent, just like Lin Tian at this moment. She didn't admit that the inner demon could defeat Lin Tian. That's true. Although Ying's statement was a little far-fetched, she accepted it happily in the end. Third, while the children were focused on the battle, Lin Tian and Bing were immersed in the battle. Neither of them realized that while Lin Tian and the inner demon were fighting, the aftermath of their battle had affected the space-time storm in the distance. Under the impact of Lin Tian and Bing's battle, the space-time storm, which was originally quiet, became more and more violent. Unfortunately, neither of them paid attention to the storm, as if they had forgotten about the space-time storm. Okay, ha 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 again. They collided again and parted again and again. The speed of the two became faster and faster. Even though Shadow and Ice had already entered the Saint Realm, only Brother Meng was able to keep up with them. Moreover, Lin Tian and Ice's figures were still a bit blurry in their eyes. One could imagine how fast their speed was to make the Saints feel blurry. Time passed little by little. The battle between the two had entered a white-hot state. Obviously, their physical strength had begun to decline slowly. How many tricks do they have? I'm afraid such a battle is rare in the world. Watching the battle between the two becoming more and more crazy, Bing no longer regarded Lin Tian and Bing as human beings. In Bing's eyes, Lin Tian and Bing were lunatics and demons because this battle had exceeded Lin Tian's current cultivation level. Oh, maybe. Ing smiled at Bing's words. However, my husband's battle alchemy skills are stronger than this. But every time the opponent is weak in the end, Ing didn't continue because there was no need to. Boom! Suddenly, just as Lin Tian and Bing's battle was getting white-hot, a roar sounded in the distance. Suddenly, the two stopped fighting and turned to look. As for Ing and Bing, they naturally couldn't miss the sound. However, the next moment, the four of them were stunned and their faces became dignified. Oh no, it must be the aftermath of Lin Tian and Bing's battle. It inadvertently triggered the space-time storm. Now the storm is completely out of control. Looking at the space-time storm spinning rapidly, it came in front of Ing in the blink of an eye. Bastard! Looking at the space-time storm, Lin Tian cursed. Now that the two of them were fighting vigorously, such a thing happened. At this moment, the two of them had no choice but to separate and find a way to escape. Of course, although he thought so, he still waved the long spear in his hand. Oh no, quickly! Quickly dodge! Lin Tian, who was in the midst of a battle with his inner demon, sensed the arrival of the space-time storm. The person closest to the space-time storm was his young madam. For a moment, Lin Tian couldn't care less about his inner demon. Whale swallow. Using all his strength, he used all his cultivation to break free from the battle. His figure rushed to the front of Ing and Bing at an extremely fast speed. He used a secret technique similar to Lin Rei's heaven-devouring art. A terrifying devouring force emerged from Lin Tian's mouth. The surrounding space force seemed to have encountered something terrible and quickly retreated. Bastard, you're crazy. Seeing Lin Tian use a secret technique, as Lin Tian's inner demon, how could he not know the power of this secret technique? However, there were always disadvantages. Although this secret technique was powerful, the side effects were also very terrifying. You bastard, don't you know that if you use whale swallow, you will fall into eternal damnation? At that time, not only you, but even I will be implicated by you. Whale swallow? Hearing Lin Tian's inner demons roar, Ing and Bing were stunned. Although they didn't understand what whale swallow was, they understood that there must be a risk in using this secret technique. Quickly! Little Tian, quickly stop. You said something happened. Our husband will be addicted. Yes, little Tian, quickly stop. They understood Lin Tian's thoughts, but the two girls didn't want to see Lin Tian die in front of them. Lin Tian didn't seem to hear the dissuasion behind him. A smile flashed across his face. A young lady, if you can't wipe out Shenyang today, remember, return to young master's side. You have to take good care of young master. After saying that, Whale Swallow continued and didn't stop because of the dissuasion behind him. In the next moment, what shocked the two women was that the previously ferocious space-time storm was now approaching Lin Tian's spatial energy. Under the whale's devouring power, Lin Tian directly swallowed some of the scattered spatial energy. Boom! A muffled sound came. Looking inside, the original meridians were now under the effect of the space-time storm. The meridians were fake. However, as the protagonist, he didn't know what happened in the space. In the Divine Valley, Lin Rei was sitting cross-legged on a stone. For some inexplicable reason, Lin Rei and Lin Tian's mood was very bad. Ah! A scream sounded. With a puzzled face, he covered his chest with his right hand. What? Their hearts were connected. Now that his heart was aching, it meant that the person he cared about was in a life-threatening situation. Who could it be? Regarding this matter, He could feel that something happened to his family. Little Tian? Ing and Bing? Or was it his son? Faced with so many choices, he didn't know which one he should feel heartache for. You're awake. Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? If you do, just say it. Don't hold it in. Seeing that Lin Tian was awake, Lin Rei immediately went up and asked with concern. He didn't want his first friend in this world to die in front of him. Yes, young master, I feel much better. After saying that, Lin Tian was about to get off the bed. However, before he could do so, Lin Rei stopped him. Little Tian, it seems like even you don't listen to me. Lin Rei quickly put on an unhappy face and looked at Lin Tian. No, young master. It's just that this is young master's bed. As a servant, how can you sleep on your master's bed? Hearing Lin Tian's words, Lin Rei was instantly unhappy. What servant or master? When mother was still alive, she wanted to take you in as a foster son. However, she passed away before she could do so. Furthermore, I have never seen you as a servant. In my heart, you have always been my little brother and my only family. Woo-woo, young master, it's enough to hear your words. Even if I die now, I will be satisfied. Hee, what death? We still have a long way to go. Along the way, I want you to be the witness of me becoming strong. Moreover, it's not just me, you have to become strong too. This way, you can always follow me, right? Seeing that Lin Tian was crying again, Lin Rei quickly comforted him. Yes, I won't cry. I will definitely follow in young master's footsteps and become strong. This way, I can always follow young master. Thinking about what happened in the past, Lin Rei couldn't help but think of little Tian. To be honest, the one he didn't want anything to happen to was Lin Tian. From Lin Rei's point of view, little Tian had suffered too much all these years. Little Tian, the pain in my heart is not because of you. After saying that, Lin Rei closed his eyes again and entered into cultivation. In the starry sky, Lin Tian was still continuing. However, after absorbing so much energy, Lin Tian felt that he had reached the barrier of breaking through to the Divine Master level. Damn, it can't be, right? Breaking through at this time? Seeing the barrier becoming more and more obvious, Lin Tian thought of the illusion he was in now and felt a headache coming on. How could he make a breakthrough in his current state? If he rashly made a breakthrough in this state, the final result would be unpredictable. Lin Tian, back off. If there's anything, let's do it together. You'll die. Behind him, Ying's voice came into Lin Tian's ears. Hearing this, Lin Tian's body trembled. He squeezed out a smile and said, "A young lady, quickly get out of here. Hurry up and find a way to get out of here." She still wanted to say something. However, Ying found that she didn't know what to say. It was as if there was a fishbone stuck in her throat. She wanted to say something but couldn't. "Sister, what do you think we should do now?" Looking at Ying, Bing asked. "What do you think?" This question was exactly what she was thinking. Where else could they go now? There was a space-time storm blocking the way in front, and the back was also blocked. Thinking about the current situation, Ying's heart was full of regret. If she had known this would happen, she would have called Xiefeng. If they had been together, the current situation might have been better. Chapter 1036. Alas, karma has reincarnation. Let's just follow fate. As for the rest, forget it. Lin Tian listened carefully to the two behind him, but if they were to make a move, danger would follow them. This was not something he wanted to see. Although I can't completely destroy the uncontrollable storm, if I use all my strength to tear a hole in it, I can still do it. Regarding this, a young lady, the two of you should return to the divine realm and wait for the young master's return. Although it might take a long time to wait, I believe in the young master's ability. He must be thinking of a way to return. But vaguely she seemed to have sensed Lin Tian's thoughts. Just as she was about to persuade him, she heard Lin Tian's interruption. "All right, there's no need to say anything about this. It's settled. After all, my life belongs to the young master. So, a young lady, remember, you must rush out as fast as you can. Otherwise, everything I've done will be in vain." After saying that, Lin Tian did not listen to the two anymore and threw it to him. He used the secret art of swallowing whale to the extreme. Not enough. Why is it still not enough? Originally, Lin Tian thought that with his current strength, he could slightly destroy the uncontrollable storm. However, in the end he was wrong. Alas, it seems that I still have to use that method. Thinking of this, a flash of determination appeared. Bloodline, reverse. Lin Tian also had a bloodline in his body. However, this bloodline was not the kind that could increase one's cultivation. On the contrary, although Lin Tian's bloodline could increase one's cultivation, the price to pay was fatal. As long as one's own bloodline could increase one's cultivation, one could only use one's bloodline to increase one's cultivation. Moreover, this bloodline could only be used once in one's life. Because the person who used it once would die, how could it be used again? This bloodline had a general name, Bright Moon Reverse Blood Burning Vein. Perhaps only Lin Tian himself knew this name. Moreover, he was familiar with this kind of unpopular bloodline when he was in charge of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. When he first learned of the characteristics of the reverse bloodline ignition, Lin Tian was very shocked. He secretly tested the power of his own bloodline. In the end, the answer was that he, Lin Tian, really did have the reverse bloodline ignition. Even Lin Rei didn't know about this matter, but Lin Tian had already made a plan in his heart after knowing that he had this bloodline. It wasn't for anything else, but to be able to use this bloodline to help Lin Rei when Lin Rei was in danger, that was all. Boom! With a loud bang, a terrifying aura rushed out from Lin Tian's body. This aura was filled with coldness, terror, brutality, and cruelty. How is that possible? Little Tian, this energy. Sensing the aura emanating from Lin Tian's body, Ice and Shadow were shocked. They had never felt such an aura before. This aura gave them the feeling of death. Bastard, you're crazy, quickly stop. However, behind him, the heart demon saw that Lin Tian had still opened the reverse bloodline ignition despite his dissuasion. He was startled and roared. Unfortunately, no matter how he roared, it was useless. The reverse bloodline ignition had already been opened, and it was impossible to close it. Haha! A wild laughter came out from Lin Tian's mouth. There was depression, melancholy, but more than that, he could finally protect the people he wanted to protect. Open for me. Without waiting for a long time, when the reverse bloodline ignition was completely opened, Lin Tian's aura reached its peak. He fiercely turned around, and using his spear as a medium to drive the aura in his body, he directly pointed at the place behind him. Boom! With a tearing sound, a crack the size of a person appeared in the originally empty space. A young lady, quickly leave, I can't hold on any longer. Puff! As soon as he opened his mouth, a mouthful of blood gushed out. His complexion became pale, and his aura became sluggish. He was like an old man with a candle in the wind, and could die at any time. But, seeing Lin Tian like this, Ying wanted to say something, but just as she opened her mouth, a cold voice came from the front. Hurry up and get out of here, or Lin Tian, this bastard, will completely waste what he did for you. There was no doubt that this voice came from Lin Tian's heart demon. Sister, let's listen to Lin Tian. Otherwise As he spoke, it was as if there was something stuck in his throat. Bing wanted to say something, but he couldn't say it. Hesitation flashed across her face. Thinking of all that Lin Tian had done for her, Ying's original hesitation disappeared in an instant, and was replaced by decisiveness and firmness. Hurry up and leave. Seeing that the two still didn't understand, Lin Tian was anxious. Others might not understand, but he was very clear about his current situation. Given his current situation, he could only last for a few dozen breaths at most. After this time, the crack would close up again. At that time, if the two didn't leave, his sacrifice would really be in vain. In the divine valley of the heavenly fate realm, Lin Rei's closed eyes opened, and a trace of sadness flashed across them. No, someone must have encountered danger, must. Otherwise, why would my Dao heart tremble? Feeling that something was wrong, he couldn't care less about those meaningless things at this moment. Closing his eyes, he activated the heavenly strategy art and his cultivation, and began to deduce things related to himself. Slowly, as Lin Rei continued to deduce things, 10 minutes passed in the blink of an eye. Lin Rei didn't wake up, but he did, and only frowned. 1 hour. 6 hours, piff-eff. A mouthful of old blood spurted out, and his face instantly paled, filled with sorrow. Little Tian. You. How could you? Just then, Linley had risked damaging his own cultivation base in his divinations. Finally, he was able to divine that Lin Tian's life force was rapidly fading away, and even his fated star was growing dim and lusterless. In the long river of time, each cultivator had their own fate star, and when the fate star changed, it represented their fate. If the fate star completely lost its light, it meant that the cultivator was completely powerless to reverse the situation. At this moment, Lin Tian's situation was heading towards that situation, so how could Lin Rei remain calm? For a moment, memories of Lin Tian involuntarily flooded Lin Rei's mind from the depths of his mind. Since that's the case, I hereby announce that from now on, I, Lin Rei, and Lin Tian are no longer part of the Lin family. From now on, we have nothing to do with you. And you, Lin Batian, are no longer my father. Everything about you has nothing to do with me. What? Hearing this, everyone present was stunned. They hadn't expected Lin Rei to do such a thing. Linley, it's all my fault. Don't worry, even if you don't have a cultivation base, I'll make sure you have a good life in the future. Lin Batian didn't know what to do with Linley's actions. Haha, father, don't you think that's a joke? I worked so hard to improve my strength, but because of one sentence from you, everything I've done in the past will go down the drain. What right do you have? You didn't care about me in the past, but now you want to care about me? Don't you think it's too late? Besides, I've never treated you as my father, so save it. As for my future, you don't have to worry about it. As Linley spoke, he was somewhat agitated. His eyes were red, and his body was trembling non-stop. Those red eyes of his were very frightening. PFFF. Lin Batian was about to say something when he heard a strange sound. He raised his head and saw Lin Rei's hand on his dantian. Blood was flowing from his mouth, and his chi was gradually weakening. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. They hadn't thought that a 14-year-old boy could be so decisive. Cough, cough. Haha, I have nothing to do with you anymore. As for my servant, my mother used her own money to buy him when she was still alive, so he doesn't belong to the Lin family. After saying this, Lin Rei limped out. Of course, this was all faked by Lin Rei's system. Brother Lei, what's wrong? Lin Rei heard someone call out to him when he was about to leave the hall. The person's voice sounded very intimate. Who are you? Lin Rei turned around and looked at the person. He didn't recognize him. No matter how hard he searched, he couldn't find anything related to this young man. Haha, I forgot. You've never seen me before, so how could you know me? Hearing Lin Rei's words, the young man smiled self-deprecatingly. Excuse me, may I know why you stopped me? Linley saw that the young man's expression was somewhat baffled, and immediately became impatient. He didn't have much time left, and if he didn't leave now, his plan would be exposed, and at that time, he might really have to cripple his cultivation. I just wanted to say that you shouldn't hate father. He has his own difficulties, so... Lin Rei was furious. He thought that the young man had something to say, but Lin Rei didn't expect him to just be a lobbyist. That's enough. Don't talk to me about your difficulties. Even if you have any, they don't mean anything to me right now. They have nothing to do with me anymore. So goodbye. After speaking, Linley didn't even look back as he headed towards his own courtyard. Sigh, it seems like I'm too late. Looking at the situation now, it seems that Brother Lei already hates father, the young man said helplessly when he saw Lin Rei walk away without looking back. Phew, I better hurry up. I've already wasted so much time. If I don't hurry up, I won't be able to make it in time. Lin Rei quickened his pace and soon arrived at his courtyard. Ah, young master, are you all right? Lin Tian, who was waiting for Lin Rei in the courtyard, ran over to support Lin Rei when he saw that his master's breath was weak. Lin Rei was touched by his servant's concern for him. He smiled at Lin Tian and said, Haha, silly boy, do I look like I'm not all right? But the most important thing now is to leave Martial City as soon as possible, or we'll be done for. Lin Tian didn't ask why. After hearing Lin Rei's words, he quickly helped Lin Rei out of the courtyard. At this moment, only Lin Rei and Lin Batian were left in the hall. Father, how can you do this? Brother Lei has finally been able to cultivate. Why do you have to cripple his cultivation? You're destroying his hope. Don't you think it's cruel? The young man stood up and shouted at Lin Batian. Haha, how can I not know? But Ray is right. I've never cared about him for so many years. When my disciple reported to me just now, I almost forgot about his existence. Don't you think it's ironic? Lin Batian stood up and walked out with a lonely expression. Lin Feng fell silent. He didn't know what to say. No matter what he said, it was too late. On the other side, Lin Tian helped Lin Ray out of Martial City. Looking at the main road in front of him, Lin Ray was lost. He didn't know where to go. Young master, where are we going now? At this moment, the nearby Lin Tian asked Linley. Let's go to Wang Xinjian. That place isn't too far from the Forest Sky Mountain Range. We can go there for some training. As he spoke, Linley's gaze fell upon Lin Tian's face. Right. Young master, I'll go wherever you go. After speaking, Lin Tian supported Linley as they walked towards Wang Xinjian. At this moment, Lin Tian's innocent, childlike smile appeared in Linley's mind. This memory was still fresh in Linley's mind. This was where they had started off. Back then, Lin Tian had sworn to follow him to his death. Not in a hurry at all. How could Linley not be anxious? But when he thought about how Lin Tian was about to die, he couldn't stay calm. But what could he do? He was just a small cultivator who hadn't even reached nascent soul. He couldn't leave this god-forsaken place with just a teleportation formation. Thinking about how he neglected Lin Tian after entering the immortal world and god world, Lin Ray regretted it. If he could do it all over again, he wouldn't do it. Although he didn't know why Lin Tian would do this, with Lin Tian's god emperor cultivation and the Xuanzong sect, he couldn't figure out what kind of person would dare to do this. However, if Ruolin knew that Lin Tian was doing this to save his wife, he would probably go crazy. Because all of this was because of him. Because of him, Lin Tian had made such a decision. What should I do? What should I do? Little Tian, nothing must happen to you. Feeling Lin Tian's faded star dim, Lin Ray panicked. Yes, system. That's right, there's still system. Just as Lin Ray was in despair, the word system suddenly appeared in Lin Ray's mind. System, little dragon, I don't know if you can hear me, but the situation is urgent. Little Tian is in danger. Quickly go save him. As if afraid that the two wouldn't help, he said, You brought me here, so you have to take responsibility. If it weren't for you, I might have a chance to save him, so you have to take responsibility. If Ruolin Tian dies, I'm afraid I won't be able to do what you want me to do. You can find another Hongmeng sovereign bloodline, but you know you don't have much time, and there aren't many people in the world with Hongmeng sovereign bloodline. You should know this. In the ancient desolate realm of the gods, just as Lin Ray thought, the system and Little Dragon heard it clearly. This bastard boy, he dares to threaten me. Looking at the screen in front of him, the Little Dragon laughed and scolded. That's right, it was laughing. It wasn't angry because of Lin Ray's threat. Chapter 1037. Tisk, isn't it because you've always spoiled this kid? How could he speak to you like that? The system suddenly added a stab, and these words left Little Dragon speechless and even less angry. You can do that. Without waiting for Little Dragon to finish speaking, the system interrupted. This matter has already come to this. Just like what that brat said, if he gets up, I'm afraid it will be as difficult as ascending to the heavens to find a Hongmeng supreme Taoist physique. You must know that the supreme Taoist physique of Hongmeng is 1 in 10,000. The probability of this physique appearing is 1 in 100 million. So, you promised Lin Ray that you want to save Lin Tian? As if guessing the system's intentions, Little Dragon spoke. Yes. The system responded, There's no other way, this brat has already said so. If you don't do anything, I can't guarantee that he will do something crazy. You know his personality, if he really goes crazy, even you won't be able to stop him, much less me. The Little Dragon subconsciously wanted to refute the system's words, but as soon as the words reached his mouth, he choked and couldn't speak. There was no other reason, the system was right. He understood Lin Ray's personality. In Lin Ray's eyes, Lin Tian was his reverse scale. My reverse scale, those who touch it die. This was Lin Ray's creed, and it was also the thing he valued most in his life. All right, if that's the case, then let's go. The little dragon didn't even need to think. The system's existence was almost like a fantasy, and the only one who could really make a move was him. So, hee, as long as you understand. F***CK. In response to the system's words, the little dragon laughed and cursed, and then his figure became illusory, until he finally turned into a ray of light and entered the soulless Lin Rei's body. Crack, crack, crack. In the next moment, a miraculous scene appeared. Lin Rei, whose eyes were originally closed, suddenly opened his eyes. A bloody light flashed through them, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly, revealing a soul-stirring smile. Not bad. Lin Rei's body is pretty good. But, if I can refine a body that belongs to me as soon as possible, that would be perfect. Feeling the physical body without Lin Rei's soul, he was both excited and excited. However, under this complicated expression, there was also a trace of disappointment. AI, what a pity. He sighed and fell silent. Haha, you rascal. The system was very clear about the little dragon's words and feelings. Don't worry. Although Lin Rei is usually sloppy, he's very sad about what happened to you. I believe that you'll regain your physical body soon after we enter the saint's world. At that time, you won't be bound by the system anymore. You'll be picked up by a human again and live a new life. AI. Hearing the system's words, the little dragon sighed. I hope so. I hope this will happen soon and don't disappoint me. Otherwise, as a person who had already died, to be able to be reborn was a very exciting and frightening thing for him. He was excited because Montgomery came back to life and returned to his hometown, to his family's side. As for fear, if one had to say, the little dragon was more afraid than excited because he was afraid that the hope that had originally been ignited would suddenly be extinguished. Therefore, he didn't dare to think about it, but he couldn't help but think about it. Don't be emotional. According to the speed of the space-time storm, if you don't hurry up, I'm afraid that when you arrive, only the endless void will be left for you. The system reminded. Damn, why didn't you say so earlier? The little dragon was no longer calm. He raised his hand and instantly released a terrifying power. The originally solid space was cut like tofu in the little dragon's hand, easily tearing a spatial crack. Huff, huff. With the appearance of the spatial crack, the astral winds that were trapped in the endless void seemed to have seen the light of hope. They rushed madly towards the god realm. Humph, this noble one is still so presumptuous. The little dragon was very clear about the horror of the battle. Of course, this level of astral winds was nothing to him, but to the god realm, it was destructive. He raised his hand and with a wave of his sleeve, a gust of wind stronger than the astral winds appeared. In an instant, it rushed towards the astral winds like a tidal wave. Huff, huff. At this moment, the two types of wind collided. In an instant, the world seemed to have lost its original color, and the entire chaos realm of the gods began to shake under the collision of the two types of wind, as if it would collapse at any time. Damn, can you take it easy? The system seemed to have felt the fluctuation of spiritual energy in the outside world, and for a moment, it couldn't help but remind him. Don't you have any idea what your cultivation is? The system had no intention of hiding anything from the little dragon. Lin Rei's physical body is only at the level of a sage. If you use it a few more times like this, I'm afraid that what awaits Lin Rei's physical body is only collapse, until it turns into ashes in the end. At that time, even if that stinking brat can successfully return, he will still have to start from scratch without a physical body. Hearing the system's words, the little dragon couldn't help but shiver, and his face was filled with fear. If it was really as the system said, then, thinking of that scene, the little dragon felt a chill run down his spine. Then, he hurriedly restrained his wife and adjusted the aura to a cultivation that Lin Rei's physical body could withstand. That's more like it. Seeing the little dragon's cultivation drop, and Lin Rei's physical body that was on the verge of collapse return to normal, as if nothing had happened. Break for me. After dealing with the system, in order to avoid wasting time, the little dragon fully unleashed his domineering aura, and with a chop of his hand, his large cultivation rushed out. With a muffled boom, the astral wind that rushed out of the crack was instantly annihilated and turned into nothingness. It's finally quiet now. Looking at the calm crack, a smile appeared on his face. Whoosh, his figure flashed, and in the next moment, the little dragon disappeared from the origin desolate realm of gods. Destiny realm. After roaring to the sky, Lin Rei returned to normal. He understood that no matter how much he roared, It wouldn't have the slightest bit of meaning to save Lin Tian. The only thing he could do now was to use divination to observe the movements of Lin Tian's fated star at any time. Of course, Lin Rei had to pay a huge price for this. Because of his insufficient cultivation, every time Lin Rei used divination, his lifespan would sharply decrease. Fortunately, Lin Rei's cultivation was now on the right track. Otherwise, his pitiful little lifespan wouldn't be enough for him to squander. Little Tian, please don't let anything happen to you. He prayed silently in his heart. At the same time, for the people, things that hurt Lin Tian, Lin Rei completely bore a grudge against them. In the void, where Lin Tian was, Ying and Bing had already escaped through the crack that Lin Tian had torn open. Finally left. The departure of Ying and Bing made Lin Tian's heart relax a lot. At least, he didn't have to worry about them anymore. Lin Tian, you should leave quickly too. Although your cultivation will be greatly weakened because you can't reach my physical body, at least you can survive. The departure of the two women calmed Lin Tian's heart and he turned to look at the inner demon. At this moment, Lin Tian no longer had the same feelings toward the inner demon as before. His killing intent was also gone. What did you say? However, Lin Tian's words made the inner demon jump. At the same time, a strange emotion appeared in his heart. You should leave quickly. The inner demon is like a dream now. I think the space-time storm here can't stop you. Although you will be a little injured, it's good that you can survive. Hearing Lin Tian's words again, the inner demon was stunned and then fell silent. Lin Tian was right. The inner demon was formed by a person's negative emotions, so he wasn't afraid of the space-time storm at all. Of course, injuries were inevitable. Hurry up and leave. I can't hold on much longer. At that moment, Lin Tian's voice grew softer and softer. His black hair had turned snow white, and his aura was extremely weak. He was like an old man with one foot in the grave, and he could die at any moment. The inner demon was speechless. The inner demon didn't speak, but its eyes were fixed on Lin Tian as though trying to figure out what was on his mind. However, to the inner demon's disappointment, after staring at Lin Tian for so long, all it saw in his eyes was sincerity and nothing else. Are you serious? The inner demon confirmed once again. Yes, I'm serious. More real than real gold. Lin Tian replied without hesitation. Boom. As soon as the two of them confirmed, a loud explosion shook the void. All of a sudden, the spatial crack that Lin Tian tore was closing rapidly. Hurry up, or it'll be too late. Upon feeling his strength disappearing, Lin Tian couldn't help but yell at the inner demon. Lin Tian's heart turned ice cold as he stared at the spatial crack disappearing bit by bit. As for the inner demon, it didn't move at all. Time passed quietly in the silence between the two of them. As time passed, the spatial crack that was torn closed. Sigh. There's no other way. I can't help you. Looking at the inner demon, Lin Tian felt apologetic. Seeing that the space-time storm was about to engulf him and the inner demon, a smile appeared on his face. He closed his eyes and waited for death to come. Young master, farewell. I won't be able to follow you anymore. At that moment, the only person Lin Tian could think of was Lin Rei. Only Lin Rei. He was an orphan from a young age. Later on, he was bought and placed by Lin Rei's side. He was very lucky. That was because his master Lin Rei didn't treat him like a servant. Instead, he treated him like a brother. With a master like that, what more could he ask for? He only felt a little regretful that he wouldn't be able to serve Lin Rei in the future. Closing his eyes, he waited for death to come. Time passed slowly. He didn't know how much time had passed. A day, a year, or even an eternity. However, in the end, Lin Tian, who was waiting for death, didn't feel any pain. What's going on? Confusion welled up in his heart. Could it be that the space-time storm is too powerful and I didn't even have the time to feel pain before my soul returned to the 9 heavens? With such doubts, he slowly opened his eyes. It was as if he wanted to investigate the 9 heavens in his heart. He opened his eyes and raised his head to look ahead. However, in the next moment, Lin Tian was stunned. He stood there like a wooden chicken. He didn't move at all. You. Looking at the back of the man before him, Lin Tian's heart trembled. A familiar feeling welled up in his heart. That shouldn't be the case. The back of the man before him made Lin Tian feel very strange. He was about to blurt out the name in his heart. However, in the next moment, this thought was rejected. No. That's impossible. Young Master is in a lower plane right now. It's impossible for him to appear here. After saying that, as if he was comforting himself, he turned his head to look around. Not dead. The familiar surroundings caused Lin Tian to be both shocked and pleasantly surprised. Good things happened one after another. Little fellow, isn't it good that you're not dead? At this moment, the man standing before him spoke. An aged voice entered Lin Tian's ears. At this moment, he realized that the person before him wasn't the person he thought he was. Senior. Dare I ask if Senior is a person? Why did you save me? According to my understanding, there shouldn't be any divine awareness between the two of us. We've never met before. May I know why Senior did this? Lin Tian asked with confusion. This bastard. However, at the back, after hearing Lin Tian's answer, the inner demon was stunned. A look of disdain flashed across his eyes as he cursed. Bastard, this is the first time. I don't want to see it happen again. Since you didn't kill me and were considerate of me, I'll let you go this time. If you do this again next time, don't blame me for being merciless. You. The inner demon's actions stunned Lin Rei. He didn't know why, but at this moment, he didn't have any mood to deal with these things. Now that the enemy was right in front of them, the internal struggle should be put aside, slowed down, and turned to face the enemy. Boom! The roar sounded again. Lin Rei and the inner demon's eyes were attracted by this loud noise. Humph, the person I want to protect is not someone you can touch. Looking at the completely out of control storm, a look of disdain flashed across his face. He raised his hand and rushed toward the space-time storm with a shocking sword will. The speed was so fast that it was almost beyond the scope of everyone's knowledge. Rip! The sound of something being torn apart suddenly rang in the ears of the brothers. Looking in the direction of the sound, they saw that wherever the sword will passed, the space along the way was filled with cracks. What happened suddenly stunned all the ferocious people present. They had never thought of this kind of strength. It was too strong. Just that blow just now, they probably wouldn't be able to achieve this even if they used all their strength. Boom! With a loud rumble, the originally ferocious returning storm, which seemed to want to engulf all existences, suddenly stopped as if space had been sealed. The advancing space-time storm stopped its encroaching action. It seemed to be afraid of something and didn't dare to be happy. It's not too late to retreat now. Otherwise, you'll ruin my heartless cultivation. Ignoring the exclamations and reverence behind him, the little dragon looked up at the space-time storm and reminded, what is this senior doing? Chapter 1038. Still not retreating? After stopping for a while, the space-time storm was still wreaking havoc without any signs of retreating. At this moment, the little dragon frowned and snorted coldly. I originally wanted to let you go. Since that's the case, then die. Everyone listened to the little dragon's words and were very puzzled. They did not understand what the little dragon who possessed Lin Rei's body was doing. Was he talking to the space-time storm? Was the space-time storm alive? Or could the space-time storm understand his words? In this regard, Lin Tian did not speak and was in a state of observing. He felt a dangerous aura towards the Lin Rei in front of him. As for the young master in front of him, he did not feel a trace of familiar aura. It was as if the young master in front of him was someone he did not know. Although the body was Lin Rei's, Lin Tian felt that the soul in Lin Rei's body was not his young master's. Sigh. Forget it, I'll ask him later. Thousand Wind Blade. Suddenly, the little dragon moved. He raised his hand and a strange incantation flashed. A bright light appeared in front of him. Slowly, the incantation slowly materialized until the last word, heaven, floated in front of the little dragon. It's been a long time since I used you, old friend. A touch of tenderness and nostalgia flashed in his eyes, as if he was facing an old friend he had not seen for many years. Wang. A miracle appeared. Hearing the little dragon's words, the heaven word suddenly vibrated,
as if it understood the little dragon's words and was using this method to respond to the little dragon.
"Heh, it's good that you still remember me. I thought that you had forgotten me after not seeing me for so long." Seeing the thousand wind blades' response, a smile spread across the little dragon's face. "Wang, yes, I understand. Since you came out, then, let me see what you're capable of. Since you haven't come out for so long, let's see if you can't retreat." Towards the thousand wind blade, the little dragon acted as if he was chatting with a normal person. Lin Tian, who was watching from the side, was dumbfounded. He had never seen such a magical scene before. Lin Tian could feel that the thousand wind blades were a kind of magic or battle technique, but when had there ever been a battle technique that had a mind of its own? It could be said that such a miraculous thing had never happened since ancient times. It seemed that this matter had exceeded his previous knowledge. Boom! The word heaven vibrated violently, and a golden sword condensed from the word heaven. Hoo-hoo, sword chi. A shocking sword chi suddenly appeared and soared into the sky. The long sword was like a king descending to the world. A king's chi gushed out. Hiss! Lin Tian sucked in a breath of cold air. At this moment, Lin Tian was completely shocked. He swore that Lin Tian's surprise was beyond his imagination. Swish! The long sword moved, and a golden light flashed. It was so fast that it seemed like a startled swan. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared in front of the little dragon. Because it was so fast, Lin Tian couldn't keep up with the speed of the long sword. He could only see a golden sword shadow flash by. However, when he saw the long sword again, it was in front of the space-time storm. The long sword stood in the sky, and a shocking sword chi soared into the sky. Gather! A dull sound rang out. At the place where the long sword was, a golden figure suddenly appeared. The figure kept growing until it reached a height of 300 meters. The long sword was held in the hand of a person that was 300 meters tall. Heaven's punishment! A shocking roar rang out. The long sword was quickly swung by the golden figure. It slashed down at the space-time storm from top to bottom. Damn, this motherfucker cur! Lin Tian exclaimed. At this moment, his worldview was refreshed. He felt that his previous life was like a dog's body. In a battle of this level, not to mention him, even Lin Ray before he went missing might not be this powerful. He might even be destroyed before he could get close to the golden figure. Rip! A tearing sound rang out. The appearance of this sound attracted the attention of Lin Tian and the little dragon. They looked up, and in the next moment, their gazes were fixed on the spot. That's it? The inner demon spoke. His tone was filled with shock. In the distance, the raging storm was torn in half by the long sword. In the next moment, the two halves of the storm seemed to have lost their main axis and dissipated in the air. Humph! Don't let me out of this kind of small fry in the future. Otherwise, even if you are the master of the thousand wind blades, I will not show you any mercy. You should know my character. I know that you are very strong, and I know even more that I can't defeat you. However, you have to understand the words of a swordsman. A swordsman's words cannot be changed. After saying that, the golden figure glared at the little dragon. Remember what I said just now. There will be no next time. After saying that, his figure flashed and the golden light disappeared. The long sword also dissipated along with the golden figure. The shocking sword aura also completely disappeared in the air with the dissipation of the long sword. However, the ruler's aura that appeared on the long sword did not dissipate immediately. Lin Tian and the inner demon understood what the golden figure said before he left. He was saying it to the little dragon. Although it seemed to be a warning to the little dragon was still smiling. It did not seem to be affected by the golden figure's words. Tisk, it's that again. It seems that you also said the same thing when you left last time. Looking at the place where the golden figure left, the little dragon was speechless. That young master. A weak voice came from behind. In response, the little dragon came back to his senses and turned to look. Lin Tian's figure appeared in the little dragon's line of sight. The little dragon was as familiar with Lin Tian as Lin Ray. Although Lin Tian did not know the little dragon had watched Lin Tian grow to where he was today. Young master, Previously, the divination pavilion calculated that you were not in the realm of the gods. Why are you now? At this point, Lin Tian did not continue. The little dragon understood Lin Tian's words. A smile appeared on his face as he said, I know what you want to say, but you don't have to worry about this. Obediently take Ying and Bing back to the realm of the gods. As for Lin, my matters, you don't have to worry about them. He instinctively wanted to say Lin Rei's name, but when he remembered that he was currently using Lin Rei's body, he hurriedly changed his words. Let's forget about Lin Tian. Don't do this again. Remember, when you go back, cultivate properly. His gaze swept over Lin Tian's body from the inside out several times. His brows furrowed tightly. Although Lin Tian looked like he was injured at the very most, it was only after a thorough examination that he realized that Lin Tian was already at the end of his life. Any god emperor would be able to kill him easily. When you go back, cultivate properly.
With your current body, you should be able to barely make it back to the realm of the gods.
As for what happens after that, you don't have to worry about it. When we return to the sect, use all the resources available to this little general to recover from his injuries.
As he spoke, his gaze swept over the inner demon.
Looking at him, the little dragon fell into deep thought. Little dragon didn't know what to say to this inner demon. Although he had helped in the space-time storm, at the last moment, he had sent Ying and Bing out. Just based on this point alone, the little dragon had the thought of showing mercy. On the other hand, when he felt the little dragon's gaze on the inner demon, Lin Tian panicked. He knew all about the inner demon's actions when the space-time storm came. Young master, although the inner demon is the other side of me, you saw his actions just now. Lin Tian pleaded. He was different. The inner demon was suppressed by Lin Rei. At least in Lin Tian's heart, the inner demon wasn't unforgivable. What do you mean? Little dragon wasn't surprised by Lin Tian's actions. After all, he knew Lin Tian's character very well. I want to let him go. Let the queen, if possible, help him find a physical body. Let him live in that way. Is that so? Hearing Lin Tian's thoughts, the little dragon fell silent. It had to be said that Lin Tian's suggestion wasn't a bad idea. However, it required a huge amount of strength. Generally, no one would waste their time on the inner demon. Yes, young master. You can help. Although the inner demon represents killing, but, yes. Before Lin Tian could finish, little Tian nodded in agreement. We'll do as you say. After all, he saved Ying and Bing. I won't sit by and do nothing.
Saying that, his gaze fell on the inner demon.
Are you willing to live in the way you mentioned today? Although that way won't be as fast as Lin Tian's cultivation, but, if you are willing, I can choose a physical body with excellent talent for you. I wonder. Are you willing? I'm willing. I'm willing. The inner demon was excited. Originally, she thought that she could obtain Lin Tian's physical body. However, it seemed that this was just wishful thinking. However, now that she had Little Dragon's assurance, the inner demon's heart was at peace. 0-inch yes in that case. Let's go. Perhaps because he understood Lin Tian's current situation, Little Dragon directly waved his hand and forcibly created a crack in space. Then, he stuffed Lin Tian and the inner demon into it. Remember, when you get back, hurry up and go cultivate. If I find out that you haven't cultivated after you get back, you know what I'll do. After saying that, before Lin Tian could say anything, the crack closed. In just the blink of an eye, Lin Tian and the inner demon's vision turned black. When they opened their eyes again, they were back in the divine realm. Furthermore, they were in the secret realm of the Xuanzong sect. What kind of power is this? Looking at the familiar scene in front of him, Lin Tian was shocked. Very strong, very strong. At the very least, if I'm in front of him now, I won't be able to withstand even one move. My body will be destroyed and I will never be reincarnated. So strong. Lin Tian was once again shocked by the inner demon's words. He knew that Lin Rei was very strong, but he didn't expect him to be this strong. He also knew the inner demon's strength. However, now that the inner demon had said so, it meant that Lin Rei's strength was really very strong. He was so strong that he could defy the natural order. Yes, the inner demon responded. Then, she turned around and found a clean and quiet place. She sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. Lin Tian didn't disturb the inner demon. He smiled awkwardly and then found a place to cultivate like the inner demon. In the realm of destiny, on the peak of the Divine Valley, Lin Ray, who had his eyes closed, opened his eyes. A smile appeared on his face. Phew. It seems that the little dragon has taken action. Otherwise, Lin Tian would have been doomed. After finding out that Lin Tian and the others were safe, Lin Ray felt a lot more at ease. At the same time, through today's events, he understood one thing. Everything he was doing now could be seen by Xiaolong, and it was extremely clear. Otherwise, Lin Tian and the others wouldn't have been saved. Thinking of this, Lin Ray understood that the reason he was here was definitely related to the little dragon. However, he didn't understand why the little dragon was doing this. He didn't understand the meaning of the little dragon's actions. Thinking about it made his head hurt. He shook his head and stopped thinking about it. Forget it. Since it's the little dragon's arrangement, then so be it. After thinking it through, Lin Ray didn't think about it anymore. Because of this, his mind became clearer and clearer. In the Sword Sect, 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Lin Tian and Lu Chongtian had taken action. The time left for the Sword Sect had just passed, and he was about to take action. As for the choice of the Sword Sect, it was up to them. Of course, he didn't care about this at all. After all, he had already done everything he could. As for whether he could seize the opportunity, it was up to Ling Jianzi to do it. He got up and walked out of the room. When the door opened, a ray of dazzling sunlight shone on Lu Chongtian's face. The warmth made Lu Chongtian feel much better. Although this weather isn't suitable for killing, but I can't care that much. I've been here for too long. I can't continue like this. Otherwise, the Lin family might change their mind. He thought to himself. Then, he stepped forward and disappeared from the spot. In the Sword Sect's main hall, a group of elders had gathered. The atmosphere was very gloomy. Everyone's face was more or less filled with sadness. After all, today was the day they had to make a choice. Wang Yu, as an existence of virtue and prestige in the sect, his words were usually highly valued by everyone. He lifted his head and looked at Huang Zhong. Then, he looked at Ling Jianzi and said, "Senior brother sect leader, what do you think we should do about this? Although we can end this by handing over Huang Zhong, this would be letting junior brother Huang Zhong down. But, if we don't hand him over, the sect will be implicated. What do you think?" As soon as he said that, everyone started to speak. After all, this was a very sensitive topic.
That's right, Headmaster Senior Martial Brother. Junior Martial Brother Huang Zhong is the youngest among us. If we were to hand him over just like that, then wouldn't our Swords Gate become the kind of despicable people that betray their own brothers to survive?
Senior Lu is right.
If that is the case, then our Sword Sect will not be able to lift our heads up in front of the Fire Country and all the other countries.
If that happens, how will our Sword Sect be able to hold our heads up high? This sigh. Only sighs could express everyone's feelings. After all, both sides were flesh and blood. However, everyone forgot that they couldn't have their cake and eat it too. Chapter 1039. Tendo Reincarnated, Who Will Be Spared by the Heavens? In the main hall of the Sword Sect, there was a deathly silence. Suddenly, a very prominent voice entered everyone's ears. "He's here." Everyone was very familiar with this voice. Their hearts trembled, and they all understood that Lu Chongtian, the killing star, had arrived. As for Lu Chongtian, he was very clear about the situation in the main hall. "So, have you made a decision? Are you going to give up your entire Sword Sect, or hand over the culprit, Huang Zhong?" The words that Ling Jianzi and the others didn't want to hear the most had appeared. They were full of fear towards Lu Chongtian because they couldn't hear the slightest emotion from Lu Chongtian's mouth. It was as if he wasn't talking about a human, but an animal. Remember, this is the last deadline, and also your last chance. You should understand that if you don't hand it over, your entire Sword Sect will be completely destroyed because of an elder. Of course, you can summon experts, but the final result will be the same. There will always be someone who wants to solve this matter, and a touch of interest appeared. How strong do you think the experts you can summon will be? Are you sure they can kill me? Or should I say, kill my master? When he said this, the corner of Lu Chongtian's mouth twitched slightly. Others might not know, but he was very clear about his master's age. How could a teenager be called an elder? Of course, he had struggled at the beginning. After all, there was a gap in age between them. However, when he thought of the strength of the other party, he ignored these red tape. As the old saying goes, the one who reaches the top is the first. Since the other party came, it wasn't a big deal to say this. In any case, he was his master, so he wouldn't lose out. Lu Chongtian's words choked Ling Jianzi and the others. Indeed, even if they invited experts, so what? According to Wang Yun's description, Lin Rui was a very strong super expert. Even if they defeated Lu Chongtian now, so what? What about Lin Rui? Who would defeat Lin Rui? This was also the problem that Ling Jianzi and the others had been worrying about. They were most afraid that Lin Rui would personally take action. Although Ling Jianzi had never seen Lin Rui before, he could guess from Wang Yun's description that Lin Rui was the kind of person who killed people without batting an eyelid. He was a transcendent existence who treated all living beings as ants. So, what's your decision? Seeing that no one spoke, he knew that Ling Jianzi must be afraid of his master. Otherwise, he would not have acted like this. But only he knew that with his current level of power, although he was not as good as Lin Li, but at the very least, no one in the Fire Country or the surrounding countries would be a match for him. Even if there were, no one would be able to stop him if he wanted to leave. Not long ago, Lu Chongtian had finally learned the butterfly steps from Lin Rui. Although he had only cultivated the butterfly steps to the initial stage of minute subtlety, he was certain that even if a martial saint came personally, he would not be able to catch him. Looking at Lu Chongtian, Ling Jianzi stuttered. It was really difficult for him to make a choice. Both of them were his own flesh and blood. He really did not know how to choose. Rationally, he chose to protect the sword sect. However, in terms of brotherhood, he chose his brother of many years. This made Ling Jianzi feel very conflicted. He swore that he would never want such a thing to happen again in the future. It was too uncomfortable. He did not want to bear such a thing. Senior brother sect leader, you don't have to be so embarrassed. Suddenly, a middle-aged man's voice resounded throughout the hall. At this moment, everyone in the hall seemed to have been stared at by this voice. Everyone was stunned and looked at the person who spoke. Wasn't this person Huang Zhong, who did not want to follow Lu Chongtian? Huang Zhong walked out of the crowd slowly and looked at the senior brothers present with an apologetic look. He was very clear in his heart. Today's incident happened because of him. He understood that his senior brothers were in a difficult position. Ling Jianzi and the others wanted to protect him, but now the enemy they were facing was too strong, so strong that they were powerless. Junior brother, you. Seeing Huang Zhong walking out, Ling Jianzi came back to his senses. With an unsightly expression, he wanted to stop Huang Zhong. Unfortunately, it was too late. It was too late. Head senior brother, you don't have to be like this. This is all because of me. The sect has been passed down for thousands of years. I can't just watch it be destroyed like this. I also won't allow the sect to be implicated because of my personal reasons. As he spoke, his gaze once again fell on Lu Chongtian, and a trace of unwillingness flashed in his eyes. I know that you are very strong, and I also know that your master is very strong, but it's impossible for me to surrender without a fight. There's a saying, this matter is my own fault, it has nothing to do with the sect. Just as you said, once I come out, you'll let the sect go. As he spoke, he paused for a moment before continuing. I wonder if this still counts? At this moment, everyone was dumbfounded. They didn't expect that their junior brother would do such a thing. Even Lu Chongtian had a trace of admiration for Huang Zhong at this moment. He didn't expect Huang Zhong to take the initiative to come out and take the blame. This alone was worthy of his respect. Looking at Huang Zhong, Lu Chongtian said, You are very good. If this incident didn't happen, perhaps we could become friends. Well, perhaps. But now, it's obvious that we can't be friends. But, does your promise still count? Huang Zhong confirmed again. He had to ensure that Lu Chongtian wouldn't harm the sect. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to absolve himself from the blame even if he died 100 times. I promise. Lu Chongtian nodded solemnly. I promise that as long as you take responsibility, I will let the entire sword sect go, and even your disciples go. Of course, the person who recommended Huang Fu Jing must also be punished. After all, without that person's recommendation, you wouldn't be in this situation today. Without that person's recommendation, the sword sect wouldn't be in such danger. Without that person's recommendation, innocent people wouldn't have lost their lives because of this. What do you think is right? After speaking, he stared at Huang Zhong, as if waiting for an answer. However, Huang Zhong didn't deny Lu Chongtian's words. Indeed, if no one had recommended Huang Fu Jing, this scene wouldn't have happened. The sword sect wouldn't have suffered such a calamity. The source of all this was that person's fault. But thinking about it carefully, if he hadn't nodded, this matter wouldn't have ended up like this. So, Huang Zhong fell silent. He didn't speak. One had to know that the person who recommended Huang Fu Jing was his disciple. Although this matter was mostly caused by that disciple, but, forget it, it's useless to say this. You won't say it? Seeing that Huang Zhong didn't speak, Lu Chongtian frowned. His face was so cold that it made people tremble. This, Brother Lu, you see, my junior brother has already stood up for this matter. You see, this matter is settled like this. Wang Yun stepped forward and spoke to ease the situation. Yes, let's just forget about this matter. My junior brother has already stood up for this matter. You, for a moment, Ling Zhenzi also spoke. However, in their hearts they wanted to mention that person, but they understood what their junior brother meant. Looking at them one by one, Lu Chongtian glanced at everyone. His originally frowning brows relaxed. Since you all want to do this, then forget it. But his originally relaxed face suddenly burst with killing intent. This matter is over. However, if I know that person's name in the future, I will hunt him down to the end. Even if the sky is broken, I will still pursue him. Although the result was not satisfactory, this matter was finally over today. Thinking of this, he looked at Guanzhong. A trace of killing intent flashed in his eyes. I'll give you a chance. Make your move. As long as you can defeat me, I can make the decision to let you go. Really? Hearing this, Huang Zhong was shocked. However, his face turned pale. He could feel the kind of pressure coming from Lu Chongtian's body. He knew that he was no match for him. Yes, as long as you can defeat me, I will let you go. But, as he spoke he paused. His killing intent soared to the sky. If you can't defeat me, you know the consequences. Yes, I understand. Huang Zhong nodded. Huang Zhong was very clear about the current situation. There was no worse situation than now. Since that's the case, let's start. Let's end this quickly. There are still many things waiting for me to deal with. He raised his hand and circulated his yuan force. His whole body was like an arrow on a bow, ready to shoot. Junior brother, don't panic. As long as you can defeat Brother Lu, you can live. Yes, junior brother. Although Brother Lu's cultivation is amazing, there is always a possibility. Ling Zhenzi spoke. The others began to cheer for Huang Zhong. The whole scene was very comical. One could imagine the scene of a group of old men raising their fists and cheering at the side. I hope you all will still be in this mood later. Looking at them, Lu Chongtian smiled bitterly and shook his head. Sorry for offending you. For Huang Zhong, with the encouragement of the brothers beside him, although there was not much change in his cultivation, he was motivated. Mysterious heaven palm. Earth-shattering palm. In order to survive, Huang Zhong went all out. He used all of his cultivation, which was even more powerful than usual. His figure rushed out like an arrow and arrived in front of Lu Chongtian in the blink of an eye. I must hit, I must. Huang Zhong prayed in his heart. Facing Lu Chongtian, he did not have much confidence. Mysterious heaven palm? He had heard of the mysterious heaven palm. It was said to be created by a genius of the Tianyun kingdom. Its power was not to be underestimated. However, he heard that when the Tianyun kingdom was destroyed, the whereabouts of this martial technique were unknown. He did not expect it to appear here today. Oh good. Lu Chongtian's thoughts came in an instant and disappeared in an instant. He looked up at Huang Zhong coming and going. Lu Chongtian didn't panic at all. Raising his hand, he unhurriedly slapped towards the palm prints that filled the sky. Suddenly, a terrifying wave of origin energy was emitted from his palm. Boom! A roar resounded. Suddenly, the aftermath of the battle was so strong that the surrounding onlookers could not help but retreat quickly. Boom! Gotcha! Gotcha! Although the two of them were gone, the entire hall suffered a calamity. The large pillar that the two of them were hugging was shattered by the shockwaves of their battle. Rumble! The hall trembled like a dilapidated house trembling in the wind. It was as if a gust of wind could blow it away. Mysterious heaven palm. Its power is indeed not bad. It seems that what was recorded in the ancient book is not completely wrong. In the smoke, Lu Changtian's voice sounded in everyone's ears. Just a moment ago, Lu Changtian took Huang Zhong's attack head-on. From the attack, he experienced the mystery and power of the mysterious heaven palm. It was indeed as powerful as what was recorded in the book. You actually took the mysterious heaven palm's earth-shattering palm with your bare hands? Huang Zhong spoke. His voice was filled with shock and disbelief. He did not expect that his all-out attack would be so easily broken by Lu Changtian. He raised his head and looked over in shock. Lu Changtian looked at him with an amused expression. It was as if nothing had happened. Your mysterious heaven palm is indeed very powerful. I have to say that it surprised me. To be honest, Lu Changtian did not have any doubts about the mysterious heaven palm. If it was not for Huang Zhong's cultivation not being able to keep up, even he would have been at a disadvantage. But it's a pity. Lu Changtian continued. It's a pity that your cultivation is not able to keep up. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for me to escape unscathed. Lu Changtian's words were sarcastic to Huang Zhong. His cultivation was not good enough. Damn, is this what I think? If my cultivation was strong enough, you would not be able to do anything. This thought appeared in Huang Zhong's mind. However, he remained calm on the surface. How could he say such words out loud? Let's continue. After saying that, Lu Changtian moved. He wanted to end the battle quickly. After all, there were still important things waiting for him. Although I don't know the specific method of your mysterious heaven palm, I have comprehended a little from its form. Let's see how powerful my mysterious heaven palm is. He raised his hand and used a method similar to Huang Zhong's mysterious heaven palm. It was similar, but there were some differences. What you? Raising his head and looking at the familiar scene, Huang Zhong was shocked. His heart was in turmoil. He had only seen it once, and now, he could tell that it was extremely similar. If he continued to fight, then thinking of this, Huang Zhong did not dare to think about it anymore. At the same time, he did not have the time to think about it because the palm prince that filled the sky had arrived. Let me see how strong your cultivation is. Let's see if you can take this move. After saying that, the palm prince rushed towards Huang Zhong, without the slightest intention of showing any mercy. Boom! Bang! Bang bang! At the next moment, a series of muffled sounds echoed in the hall. This sound was very familiar to everyone. Damn it! Hearing this sound, Ling Jianzi and the others' expressions changed. They felt that something was wrong. Immediately, they released their perception to explore the ruins. In their minds, the previous junior brother Huang Zhong was no longer there. Only his own blood was left. His aura was weak, and he was lying on the ground. His appearance was so miserable that it was unbearable to look at. Chapter 1040. Looking at Huang Zhong's tragic appearance at this moment, everyone knew in their hearts that he was defeated, thoroughly defeated, and there was no room for him to reverse the situation. However, they did not expect this result. Originally, they thought that Huang Zhong would be able to hold on for a while under Lu Changtian's attack. Unexpectedly, he was defeated in just one move, and he was so seriously injured. Boom! With a rumbling sound, Lu Changtian pushed a huge rock away and walked out of the ruins. As he walked, he patted the dust off his body, looking disdainful of his clothes. Tesque, what a pity. It's a pity that your previous wrong decision has brought you such a price. Looking at Huang Zhong, Lu Changtian spoke slowly. It could be heard that Lu Changtian felt that it was a pity for Huang Zhong to die like this. Do you regret it? Cough cough. In the ruins, hearing Lu Changtian's words, Huang Zhong, who was pressed down by a huge rock, coughed violently, as if he wanted to open his mouth to respond. Cough. Perhaps because of his serious injuries,
Huang Zhong coughed violently when he opened his mouth, and his face was red because of the violent coughing.
I regret it. Hearing this sentence, everyone present was stunned. That's right. Huang Zhong did regret it. He regretted that he listened to other people's recommendations and did not accept a disciple based on his own feelings. He regretted that he accepted Huang Fujing as his disciple, which led to the current situation. He regretted that he ignored these senior brothers of his in the past. He regretted that he had done all the wrong things in the past. Unfortunately, it was too late now. He could vaguely see the Grim Reaper waving at him with a smile. This feeling was the most unpleasant feeling he had ever experienced in his life. Well, it's good that you know regret. Lu Changtian appreciated Huang Zhong's frankness very much. After all, some people would find excuses before death in order to save their own lives. Oh, that's good? Lu Changtian's words were so sarcastic to Huang Zhong. What did he mean by that? If he had a choice, if he had known that it would be so difficult, he would have carefully reviewed the Huangfu family's character, and not carelessly accepted it just because it was recommended by his disciple. Now that he thought about it, he was indeed careless, and it was because of this carelessness that he became like this. Unfortunately, it was too late. So what if he regretted it? Could it be that he could survive? Too naive. He understood his current situation. He understood that he had been defeated, and what awaited him was only death. Only death would be the best ending for him. Only then would he be able to repay the people he had indirectly killed. All right, let's cut the crap. Since you regret it, remember to be a good person in your next life. Don't be a fool like you are now. As he spoke, he raised his hand and the spear floated into the air. Go. The spear moved under Lu Changtian's command. The spear rushed out instantly like a spear, and in the blink of an eye, it was about to pierce Huang Zhong's body. Bang! There was the sound of weapons colliding, and the spear was bounced away. A figure quickly retreated, and a deep hook appeared on the ground. Seeing that his attack was blocked, Lu Changtian frowned and turned his head to look. Wang Yun, what are you doing? That's right, the person who retreated was Wang Yun, and in front of Huang Zhong, there were already people standing. Everyone looked nervous. They were also afraid that they would lose their lives here, but when they thought of their brother's situation, it was not a big deal. Wang Yun, who was retreating, felt the powerful impact, but his body still did not stop. For a moment, Wang Yun waved his hands, and the long sword was inserted into the ground to stop his retreat. Brother Lu, for the sake of our friendship, let go of my junior brother. After understanding Lu Changtian's situation, Wang Yun did not wait for Lu Changtian to speak. You said it yourself. Regarding the Lin family, if you let my junior brother go, I guarantee that he will stay in the Lin family for the rest of his life and protect the Lin family. With the Lin family as the center, he will not let anyone have the chance to destroy the Lin family. At this point, he was afraid that Lu Changtian would not agree, so he looked at him suspiciously. Silence. Lu Changtian was silent about Wang Yun's suggestion. However, this idea was still very good. It was actually not a bad thing to let Huang Zhong guard the Lin family. Indeed. Wang Yun's idea stopped in everyone's ears. This kind of person was excited because this idea might be able to save his brother's life. Brother Lu, why don't we just let this matter go? Let my junior brother go to the Lin family to atone for his sins. What do you think? Everyone's eyes were filled with anticipation. They were very much looking forward to Lu Changtian stopping here. Heh! Looking at everyone's current expressions, Lu Changtian flashed a smile. To be honest, he did not want to make a move on Huang Zhong either. However, he did not have a good excuse. However, it was different now. Now that he had an excuse to take the initiative to come to him, it meant that Huang Zhong did not need to be killed. Furthermore, he could complete the task given to him. Thinking of this, how could he not be happy? How could he not be excited? He raised his head and looked at the half-dead Huang Zhong. Sigh, Huang Zhong, since so many people are pleading for you, I will do my master a favor and let you go. However, you must enter the Lin family and forever protect the Lin family. You must follow the Lin family blindly and never do anything that betrays the Lin family. I wonder if you are willing? Once those words were said, everyone present was startled. After thinking for a while, smiles appeared on their faces. They nodded repeatedly. Agreed. Agreed. Dragging his tired and aching body, he came before Lu Changtian. With a plop, he directly knelt on the ground. I, Huang Zhong, swear in this lifetime that as long as I, Huang Zhong, am alive, I will protect the Lin family and never betray them. Boom. Once Huang Zhong made his vow, the originally clear sky suddenly darkened. Of course, this scene only lasted for an instant. It was as if the sky was responding to Huang Zhong's vow. If that's the case, then this matter is over. You can keep your life for now. Thank you. Knowing that he was fine now, Huang Zhong was so excited that he couldn't control himself. That's enough. Hurry back and get treated. I'll give you 2 days. After 2 days, we'll go to the Lin family. Looking at everyone, he left these words and disappeared before everyone's eyes. Hoo, plop, plop. Lu Changtian's figure disappeared before everyone's eyes. Everyone seemed to have lost all their strength and fell to the ground one by one. Hoo! He let out a long breath of turbid air. His face was full of smiles as if he had just survived a great disaster. Finally, this matter is finally over. In the Divine Valley, Lin Rei, whose eyes were tightly shut, opened his eyes. A glint flashed through his eyes. It seems that this little guy really didn't take my words seriously. Perhaps even Lu Changtian himself didn't know that when he left, Lin Rei had placed a 10,000 miles talisman on his body. Everything that happened to Lu Changtian could be recorded in Lin Rei's mind. Master. Seeing Lin Rei's arrival, Lu Changtian's expression changed. His head immediately drooped. Thinking about how he was tortured by Lin Rei in the past year, just thinking about it made him shudder. Looking at the two of them, Lin Rei responded and finally stood between them. I didn't expect the two of you to exchange pointers, but, turning his head, his gaze fell on Lu Changtian. Kid, are you injured? No. Lin Rei's words stunned Lu Changtian. He didn't expect Lin Rei to ask such a question. This was obviously very different from the usual Lin Rei. If he had seen such a thing happen before, he wouldn't have appeared. On the contrary, he would have stayed in the dark and waited until Lu Changtian was tortured beyond recognition. But now, that's good. Hearing that Lu Changtian was fine, Lin Rei let out a long breath. Since you're fine, pack up and leave the Divine Valley. What? Two shocked voices sounded at the same time. Obviously, it was Lu Changtian and Xueqi. Looking at the two of them, Lin Rei understood. I'm only letting you leave because of a promise from a year ago. A year ago. Hearing this, Lu Changtian recalled. That's right, a year ago, his master had personally said that he would only give the Sword Sect 1 year. Within 1 year, he would be sent to the Sword Sect to challenge and exterminate them. Now 1 year had passed. With his current strength, Lu Changtian was very confident that not a single person in the Sword Sect would be able to escape from him. However, he had some friendship with the Sword Sect, so Lu Changtian had always thought that this was a joke and didn't take it seriously. But now, it seemed that he had misunderstood Lin Rei's intentions. Seeing that Lu Changtian was deep in thought, Lin Rei spoke up. I think you've realized that a year ago, I wasn't joking when I told you to exterminate the Sword Sect. Of course, this is just one of your many missions. What else is there, Master? Lu Changtian couldn't disobey Lin Rei's orders. When you return this time, the first thing you'll do is to exterminate the Sword Sect. As for the second thing, after pondering for a moment, he continued, it's very simple. After you return and deal with the Sword Sect, go to the Lin family and see how the Lin family is doing. If the Lin family encounters any trouble, just deal with them. However, you must remember that if you don't remove the roots, they will grow again when the spring breeze blows. Just like the Lin family, if you encounter any other family that tries to harm the Lin family, you don't need to know who did it, just exterminate them. Also, spread the word that if anyone dares to harm the Lin family, they will end up like the Sword Sect. Lin family? Are you really the Lin family member who was in a coma for 8 years? Although he had followed Lin Rei for more than a year, Lu Changtian didn't dare to ask too much about his affairs. Now that he heard him say this, he was confused. Heh, you can take it that way. Of course, this is only a temporary body that I'm living in. One day, I will return to my original body. Lin Rei didn't intend to hide anything from Lu Changtian. What? Lu Changtian was shocked. What did he mean by temporary body? What did he mean by returning to his original body in the future? This kind of method shocked him. Haha, that's enough. This matter isn't what you think now. When you reach a certain height, you will be like me. Seeing Lu Changtian's reaction, Lin Rei interrupted him. Remember my words. After you leave, go to the Sword Sect. I'll leave the Sword Sect matters to you. As for the specifics, you can do as you see fit. I trust that you won't make your master busy. As for the Lin family, tell my mother that I'm fine and don't let her worry. If they ask when I will return home, tell them that it will be 3 years. Only a little over a year has passed, so there are still 2 years left. I will definitely return home in 2 years. Then Lin Rei told Lu Changtian some things to pay attention to. Other than the Sword Sect matters, the rest were related to the Lin family. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, an hour had passed. Lin Rei finally stopped talking. Plop, suddenly, Lu Changtian knelt on the ground and kowtowed twice. He looked at Lin Rei with gratitude. Master, thank you for accepting me as your disciple. If it wasn't for you, I would still be a frog at the bottom of a well. If it wasn't for you, how would I know that the world of cultivation is so wonderful? If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have the strength that I have today. Haha, get up. This is just the beginning. With a wave of his hand, a majestic spirit energy rushed out. A hand formed from spirit energy lifted Lu Changtian up from the ground. Okay, go quickly. He waved to Lu Changtian and then turned to Xueqi. Go and send Changtian out of the Divine Valley. Why me? Xueqi looked at Lin Rei and asked. Because I'm strong. You don't want to accept it? A look of, if you don't accept it, come and fight me. Bastard. Seeing Lin Rei like this, Xueqi felt depressed. He cussed inwardly but then agreed. Okay, I'm most willing to do this. PFFF, seeing Xueqi like this, Lu Changtian directly laughed without caring about his image. It wasn't that Lu Changtian was easily amused. It was just that this was the first time he saw Xueqi being humiliated like this. It was hard for him not to be unhappy. Are you still going or not? Perhaps it was because Lin Rei was beside him or something, but Xueqi roared at Lu Changtian's laughter. Then, he twisted his huge body and rushed toward the exit of the Divine Valley. Haha, enough. Hurry up and follow him. Sensing Xueqi's current expression, Lin Rei smiled and didn't mind. He said to Lu Changtian, Amen, I understand, master. Thinking of what that cheap disciple of his told him before leaving, he didn't take it to heart at all. TCH, isn't this what you wanted to see? Xueqi's voice entered Lin Rei's ears. That's true. Thinking of what that cheap disciple of his did, he couldn't deny that this was the best result he could give. However, he only thought that Lu Changtian wouldn't be so ruthless as to exterminate his family. However, he didn't think that even the main culprit wasn't stupid. Thinking of that Huang Zhong, Lin Rei wanted nothing more than to kill him. However, thinking that he would be protecting the Lin family, his hatred for Huang Zhong lessened a lot. Forget it. Since it's your decision, I'll respect it. However, I hope that you won't disappoint me. Chapter 1041. Lianqing, the Lin family. Now, the Lin family was shrouded in dark clouds. Their days were filled with silence. It was as if something had happened, causing the entire Lin family to sink into silence. Sigh. Could it be that the heavens really want our Lin family to perish? Now, almost all of the direct descendants are gone and those from the side branches are almost completely wiped out. If the situation continues to develop at this rate, I'm afraid it won't be long before our Lin family is completely wiped out in the Fire Country. What should we do? Master Lin, who was sitting at the head of the table, looked haggard. His hair was white, and he seemed to have lost his vitality. Logically speaking, with the old man's current cultivation and age, this should not have happened. The old man, who was supposed to be in the prime of his life, had become like this. Father, don't think about that matter anymore. After all, it's not what you want to happen. Off to the side,
Linley's mother, Firecloud, watched as her grandfather slowly grew more and more haggard. She felt unbearably guilty. But she could only watch helplessly. During this period of time, the descendants of the clan had died one after another. Not only the old master, but even she was mentally and physically exhausted by this matter. If it wasn't for her son who was away, she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to hold on. How can you not blame me? In front of the old man, sadness gushed out. I am the head of the Lin family. I am supposed to protect the Lin family in this life. Not to say that I am rich, but at least I am not worried about my life. But now the clan's disciples are either dead or injured. Furthermore, the clan's business has been destroyed by my hands. 3 out of 4 of my sons have died. This scene has caused me to be ashamed to face my ancestors. A tear flashed, flowing from the corner of his eye to his cheek. He was even more sad. Who said that a man of steel wasn't gentle? As the old saying goes, men don't cry easily. It's just that they haven't been hurt to the core. Now that the old man's heart was broken, he was powerless to stop everything that was happening in front of him. He was tired. Father, you. Seeing the old man so sad, Huiyun wanted to say something to dissuade him, but as soon as the words left his mouth, he felt as if he was choked by something and couldn't say what he wanted to say. She could not say what she wanted to say. In the end, she could only sigh and end the conversation. Sigh, if Ray was here, maybe the family's difficulties could be resolved. A glimmer of hope flashed through the old man's lifeless eyes. However, it was only a glimmer of hope, and it was gone in a flash. Then, it returned to normal. No. Huiyun hurriedly refused the old man's suggestion. This was the second time she had heard the old man say this. Previously, she had refused once. Although she had seen how powerful her son was, as a mother, she didn't want her son to return to such a dangerous place at such a time. Although she had some inkling of how powerful Linley was, she still couldn't accept it. Sigh, don't be so agitated. Hearing his daughter-in-law's roaring voice, the old man froze awkwardly and hurriedly tried to dissuade her. I was just thinking about it. It was just a casual remark. Ray is the Lin family's only hope. How can I bear to let him return at this time? Indeed, as the only son of the third generation, Lin Ray, the old man would not let him return at this time. I understand. After she said that, the two of them looked at each other and stopped talking. The scene fell into silence again. Lu Changtian and his group arrived at the city gate. 5 days. For 5 days, Lu Changtian and his group traveled day and night. Finally, on the 5th day, Lin Tian, Lu Changtian and his group arrived at the city gate where the Lin family lived. Beat him up. Beat him to death. Let's see if he dares to disobey our city lord again. A loud noise came from the city gate and entered the ears of Lu Changtian and his group. What's going on? Hearing the noise coming from the front, Lu Changtian frowned and his face darkened. As the former city lord, he knew that the control of Lian City belonged to the Lin family. But he didn't remember the Lin family being so arrogant and despotic. Sigh, what a sin. A good young man, because he didn't pay the entrance fee in the end. Shoo, at this time, 2 people passed by Lu Changtian. One of them sighed, but before he could finish, he was interrupted by the other person who made a gesture to keep quiet. You can't say that. His face was filled with fear as he looked around. He was afraid that someone would hear what he was about to say. He was especially vigilant. Times have changed. The era of the Lin family is over. The Long family entered the city and the Lin family hid in the Lin family. Now, the Long family is the emperor of Lian City. As the saying goes, the mountain is high and the emperor is far away. Even if the emperor knows, he won't say anything. Officials protect each other. Moreover, the Long family offers many rare treasures to the royal family every year. Sigh, when these words were said, the two shook their heads and sighed. Their faces were filled with anger. The two of them did not know that their conversation brought a huge amount of information to Lu Changtian. Long family. Lu Changtian was filled with doubts about this unfamiliar family. He had never heard of this Long family. However, just in case, when Lu Changtian heard about this family, he searched through his mind. He wanted to see who exactly this Long family was. Similarly, if the Long family was in control of Lian City, then What about the Lin family? When he heard the conversation between the two people, Lu Changtian was even more puzzled when he heard that the Lin family hid in their home and did not come out. The Lin family used to be an existence that no one dared to offend. They were a family that could make the entire Yan country tremble with a stomp of their feet. However, now, Lu Changtian's expression changed again and again. Each time, it was uglier and gloomier than the last. Wang Yun and the others understood Lu Changtian's expression. Their hearts skipped a beat. They understood that the Lin family was in trouble. In that case, they had something to do next. "Brother Lu, let's," Wang Yun said. "Let's go into the city." After saying that, he walked towards the city gate. Lu Changtian decided that this time, he had to completely clear the obstacles in front of the Lin family. It did not matter if there were experts in front of them. He could not do it. Lin Rei was still around. He believed that if Lin Rei made a move, no one in the entire continent would be a match for him. Moreover, he also believed that with his current strength, even if he could not conquer the entire continent, he could still do it in a place like the Yan country and Lian city. "Let's go." Looking at Lu Changtian's back, Wang Yun felt pity for those troublemakers. "I hope you don't go too far." Otherwise, Lu Changtian did not know what Wang Yun was thinking. If he knew, he would definitely laugh. It was not because of anything else, but because Wang Yun thought too simply. The reason why he tolerated the Sword Sect again and again was because although the Sword Sect was wrong, they did not deserve death. However, now that the Lin family was in trouble, this was Lin Rei's home. Anyone who offended the Lin family would definitely be killed. Even if it was just verbally insulting the Lin family, Lu Changtian would also be killed. His thoughts represented Lin Rei's thoughts. However, if it was Lin Rei, he would probably do something even more terrifying than Lu Changtian. If one person insulted, the entire family would be exterminated. If one person from the Lin family was injured, the entire Lian city and even the forces behind them would be destroyed. Even if some people did not know about this, they would still have to die. There was no other reason other than that they were familiar with the person who insulted and hurt the Lin family. That was all. A group of people lined up. Lu Changtian talked a lot about beating, insulting, and humiliating the people who entered the city. Some of the city guards even wanted to forcefully drag the young girls into their rooms to humiliate them physically. Regarding this scene, the people present could be said to be angry but did not dare to say anything. "Bastard, you have really disgraced the Yan country soldiers." Just when the vicious man was feeling aggrieved, a loud shout was heard. The murderous intent in the voice was imprinted in everyone's heart. The loud voice attracted everyone's attention, including the city guards who were about to drag the young girls into their rooms. At this moment, everyone was stunned on the spot, especially the passers-by who were next to Lu Changtian and the others. The shock on their faces was shocking to the eye. "Who is it? Who is speaking? Do you not want to live anymore? How dare you speak so arrogantly to the guards of the Long family?" The guard who had been sitting on a chair at the city gate like an official was the first to regain his senses. His expression was gloomy as he swept his gaze over the crowd. His gaze immediately fell on Lu Changtian. The moment the guard's gaze fell on Lu Changtian also looked at him. After the two pairs of eyes met, Lu Changtian's murderous intent completely erupted. "It's you." Looking at Lu Changtian, the guard's tone was cold and sinister. "Oh, that's right, it's me." Looking at the guard, a murderous intent flashed. He said, "As a soldier of the Yan country, how dare you treat the people of the Yan country like this? Don't you know that the people are the foundation of the country?" Looking at him, Lu Changtian said word by word, looking like a superior who was reprimanding his subordinates. "Aren't you afraid of being punished by the heavens for acting so rashly?" Everyone at the side was completely stunned. As people who had lived under oppression for a long time, they had long had enough of those days where they were neither human nor ghost, and were like animals. However, because they had no strength to truss up a chicken, they were powerless and could only be bullied by others. Now, hearing someone reprimand these evil people, the passers-by were very excited. However, when they thought of the other party's strength, some of them couldn't bear to speak and tried to dissuade him. "Young man, you should leave quickly. These people are not to be trifled with. The Long family is very powerful in the entire Lian city, and even the entire Yan country. You are still young and have many days ahead of you. Don't get into danger because of this matter. Yes, yes, young man, leave quickly.
Otherwise, it will be too late.
Leave quickly. Dissuading laughter rang out one after another.
Lu Chongtian's heart tightened.
After all, he used to be the city lord and hated these people the most. Humph, leave, with a cold snort. He ignored the crowd and looked at the leading officer. The murderous intent in his eyes grew stronger.
Today, the entire Lian city will return to the Lin family. No one can change this. It's useless to just come to the Yan country. Lu Chongtian said it. Boom. The moment these words came out, the crowd exploded.
Especially the soldiers who were guarding the city. Their faces were all red and looked very funny.
Is it possible?
When the people of Lian City heard Lu Chongtian's words, they only had these 3 words in their hearts.
Is it possible? Yes, is it possible? Is it possible to liberate the entire Lian city?
With the existence of the Long family, is it possible to return it to the Lin family?
Boom.
A shocking murderous intent flashed. The officer who was looking at Lu Chongtian released his cultivation. The old man, Lu Chongtian, had a long sword in his hand. The sword was pointed in the direction of Lu Chongtian. This aura was so strong that ordinary people couldn't get close to him.
Of course, it was only ordinary people.
In Lu Chongtian's eyes, this officer in front of him was just a clown trying to please the crowd.
Heh, you are very courageous.
Looking at the officer holding the sword, a devilish expression appeared on Lu Chongtian's face. Since that's the case, then, die for me.
Xiao.
After finishing his words, Lu Chongtian's figure suddenly disappeared in front of everyone.
No one could react to this.
Even Wang Yun and the others couldn't react, let alone some ordinary people who didn't know how to cultivate. The sound of flesh being pierced was heard, and a figure flew out. With such little strength, you still dare to commit crimes. I really don't know who your Long family is to dare to cause trouble in Lian City.
Plop.
The figure that flew out fell. His body was soft and powerless, as if all the bones in his body had been broken. There was no vitality in his body at all.
This, Wang Yun exclaimed.
He was the first person to come back to his senses. In Wang Yun's vision, the officer from before was lying on the ground in the distance. His body was lifeless, and at the place where the officer's heart was, a fist-sized blood dragon appeared.
Scarlet and boiling blood flowed out continuously like a fountain.
Hiss! After an unknown period of time, the sound of someone sucking in a cold breath sounded in the field.
At this moment, everyone came back to their senses and understood the officer's situation. Today, Lian City will once again belong to the Lin family. This cannot be changed for thousands of generations. If you're not convinced, you can give it a try.
As soon as he said this, the spies from all over the country began to get busy. After saying this, he ignored the shock and excitement in everyone's hearts and turned his head to look at Wang Yun and the other martial cultivators from the Sword Sect.
Before I enter the Lin family, I don't want to see the Long family again, and I don't want to hear any news of their existence. Remember, I don't want a single one of them to be left alive. Even if it's a servant in the Long family, or even the livestock raised by the Long family, I don't want them to be alive. If I find out that you secretly let a person and an animal go, then I'll take your lives. Do you understand? Chapter 1042. As soon as these words were spoken, the surrounding people felt a chill run down their spines. A terrifying thought arose in their hearts. They must not become enemies with this person, and they must not offend the person in front of them. Otherwise, the consequences would be severe.
However, in the face of Lu Chongtian's order, although Wang Yun and the others felt a little uncomfortable, when they thought of his kindness to the Sword Sect and his leniency towards the Sword Sect, their dissatisfaction disappeared. Of course, more importantly, the place that was in trouble was the hometown of that expert Lin Rei.
Moreover, the Lin family was being bullied by the Long family. Just this point alone was enough reason for them to take action. Looking up at Lu Chongtian, Wang Yun and the others cupped their hands and nodded. Yes, we understand what to do. After saying that, he turned around and said to the people behind him, "Did you all hear it clearly? The Long family will kill everyone, no matter who they are or what they say. Leave no one alive."
Yes, we will follow the elders' orders. As members of the Sword Sect, they naturally had no reason to resist the elders' orders.
Go.
Waving his hand to everyone, he walked towards the guards at the door. Since he was going to kill, he had to kill all of them. It was not his style to leave behind future troubles. As the saying goes, a wildfire can't burn it down, but it will grow again when the spring breeze blows. Just like an enemy, if you don't kill them all, then what's left for you in the end is only regret, death, and despair. Swish! More than 20 figures flashed. In the next moment, when everyone regained their senses, those people from before were gone. These people. When the guards who had not been killed saw this scene, their hearts trembled. They understood that these people were all martial cultivators. Their cultivation was not weak, especially the young man who killed their leader in one move. His cultivation was even stronger. No. Don't. Seeing Lu Changtian approaching them step by step, the guards were afraid. They were really afraid. They didn't want to die. Who didn't have a mother who was 70 years old and a child who was 4 or 5 years old at home? Moreover, they had a beautiful wife at home. Who would want to die? It was a pity that they had done too many bad things in the past. As the saying goes, the heavens will punish those who commit sins. If the heavens don't punish them now, they can only wait for Lu Changtian to do it. Don't worry, you won't feel any pain. I won't torture those old weak ordinary people like you. What do you think? Am I merciful? Murderous chi flashed in Lu Changtian's eyes when he saw those guards. Immediately after, his fist turned into a palm and a blade appeared in his hand. He didn't care about those guards begging for mercy. Lu Changtian didn't see them as human beings. Die. Remember, be a good person in your next life. Don't be like this life or else. Puchi, a bloody light flashed. In an instant, a bloody light flashed across the throats of more than 10 city gate guards. Scarlet blood spurted out from their throats. The scene was extremely horrifying. Ah! A scream rang out from the crowd. From the sound of it, one could tell that the girl and the child were frightened by the scene of the murder. Sigh. I hope that this time, I'll be able to completely wipe out the scourge of the Lin family. Otherwise, if Master finds out, I'm afraid. Thinking of Lin Rei's strength and his vengeful nature, the entire Lian city would probably be reduced to a living hell. That scene. Even Lu Changtian found it terrifying when he imagined it. Forget it, let's settle this quickly and go back. As he thought about it, he turned his head to look at the ordinary people behind him. A smile appeared on his face, and his tone became very gentle. He was completely different from the martial cultivator who killed without batting an eyelid. You heard what I said just now. From today onwards, there is no more Long family in Lian City. You will return to your old days and do what you should do. You will be protected by the Lin family. Everyone. The scene was silent. No one spoke. It was as if time had stopped. Everyone was frozen in place. Seeing the expressions on everyone's faces, Lu Changtian was taken aback. Then, he snapped out of his daze and stepped into the city. Is this true? Are we really free? Not long after Lu Changtian left, he looked at the city gate with tears in his eyes. His voice trembled as he looked at the city gate and muttered to himself. Is this true? I hope so. After being suppressed for so long, they still didn't dare to believe that they were truly free. It could even be said that they didn't believe that this matter was real. Lu Changtian stepped into the city. It was completely different from what he had imagined. There was no bustling scene in the city. There were no people coming and going. There was no endless traffic. There were only silent streets and empty city. How could this be? Looking at the scene in front of him, Lu Changtian was stunned. He had heard of Lian City before. Although it was a remote city, it shouldn't be so desolate. What kind of existence is the Long family? To be able to turn a bustling city into such a state. In the center of the city, there was a grand mansion. 2 large jade lions stood at the entrance. They were like 2 guardian deities. They were ferocious, terrifying, and filled with deterrence. In the center of the mansion, 2 large golden words were printed on the plaque. The words were particularly generous and filled with the aura of a great family. Long Mansion, this is it. At this moment, Wang Yun and the others arrived at the entrance of the Long Mansion. Looking at the grand courtyard, they were stunned and speechless. I didn't expect the Long Mansion to be so extravagant.
It's not inferior to the imperial palace in the capital at all. If he compared the imperial palace to this courtyard, other than the difference in size, the decorations were not inferior to the imperial palace at all. Huang Zhong, who was following behind Wang Yun, saw that they stopped. His heart jumped and he hurriedly urged, "Senior brother, since we've come to the Long Mansion, let's directly take action." He was now deeply grateful to Lu Chongtian. Moreover, he was now in the time to curry favor with him. Therefore, doing things was the only way he could curry favor with him. Haha, all right. Wang Yun understood Huang Zhong's thoughts. A wry smile flashed across his face as he nodded in agreement. "Let's go. The sooner we finish this, the sooner we can finish this." And all right. After receiving Wang Yun's order, Huang Zhong and the others did not just watch. With a wave of their hands, a sword beam rushed out. The moment the sword beam collided with the door of the Long Mansion, the door of the Long Mansion exploded with a bang, and a passage appeared in front of everyone. "Who is it? Who dares to barge into my Long Mansion?" At this moment, an explosive shout came from within the Long Mansion. It turned out that just now, the young man guarding the door was sitting in the room listening to a tune and drinking wine. However, the sudden explosion gave him a fright, and his mood instantly turned bad. He stood up and went to the door. When he saw that the door had become tattered, he was shocked. He was just a guard. Now that the door had been destroyed, he could not bear the responsibility. However, the person who destroyed the door had to pay the price. He raised his head and looked out of the hole. Wang Yun and the others were looking at him aggressively. Who are you? Why did you destroy my Long Mansion's door?" Looking at the terrifying aura emitted by the group of people, the imposing manner that was originally looking for trouble instantly disappeared. "Kill." Without saying anything, Wang Yun only had one word for the people who appeared in his field of vision. "What? You. The young man guarding the door was afraid. As the Long family's guard, he was usually arrogant and bullied others. But now, the other party had not only barged into the Lin family, but also wanted to kill them. This made his brain not listen to him. What the hell is going on? Pucci. Just as the young man thought that, he felt pain in his chest. The vitality in his body quickly receded, and his consciousness gradually blurred. Soon, he felt that the ground in front of him was limp on the ground. "Kill them. Leave no one from the Long family alive." Seeing that the killing had begun, he immediately spoke. He took the lead and rushed into the Long family and started wantonly killing. You. Who are you? Why, no. Father, save me. I don't want to die. Father, at this moment, the Long family could be said to be endlessly screaming and begging for mercy. Even the streets could hear the voices coming from the Long family. Who is this? They dare to do this to the Long family. Don't they know how powerful the Long family is? TCH, the Long family. I think the Long family is in trouble today. I don't know who the Long family offended. They actually have such powerful strength and dared to kill their way into the Long family. They're too powerful. Yeah. Although there were screams coming from the Long family, in the eyes of the passers-by, the Long family was an existence that could not be shaken. No one thought highly of the people who had barged in. Similarly, the Lin family also received the news of the Long family's actions. This news could be said to be a pleasant surprise to the Lin family. Master Lin, who was originally worried about this matter, jumped up happily like a child when he heard this news. However, he was puzzled by this mysterious power that suddenly appeared to protect the Lin family. According to the information sent back by the spies, the old man was certain that he and even the entire Lin family did not have the slightest bit of friendship with this power. It could even be said that they did not know this power. What's going on? Where did this power come from? Why are they protecting my Lin family? This question occupied the old man's thoughts. On the other side, Wang Yun and the others were completely bloodshot. No matter who it was, as long as they were in the Long family, they could not avoid the fate of being slaughtered by Wang Yun and the others. And in the depths of the Long family, the head of the Long family, Long Ming, received the news that his family had been breached. He also knew how powerful and how many people had come. Bang! Long Ming raised his hand and slammed it on the table in front of him with elemental energy. His entire face was bone-chillingly cold, and his killing intent was exposed without any concealment. Who is it? Has the other party identified themselves? Do you know which power they are from?
With a cold face, he asked the subordinate kneeling below. In his opinion, with the existence of a power behind the Long family, no one should be so reckless. In his guess, he had automatically filtered out the sections. After all, in the secular world, people from sects were not allowed to participate. However, if it was not a sect, he really could not think of who could be so rampant inside.
I don't know.
His body trembled, and his face was filled with fear. As a subordinate, he was very clear about his family head's character. Moreover, Long Ming's character was famous in the entire circle for being irritable, bloodthirsty, narrow-minded, and vengeful. Even his own family members might not be able to obtain Long Ming's trust.
You don't know.
After getting this answer, Long Ming narrowed his eyes, and his killing intent became even more vigorous.
You want to dismiss me with just a you don't know? Then what did I raise you for?
Although he was not afraid, he was still a little curious about the person who had suddenly barged into the Long family. Since they were not afraid of the power behind him, the other party must be a very powerful organization. Thinking about this, he got up and glared at the person kneeling on the ground. He snorted coldly and said, "Get up.
I'll let you off this time. If there's a next time, you don't have to come back. Just kill yourself to apologize."
Yes. When the subordinate heard Long Ming's words, he felt as if he had been pardoned. Tears almost fell from his eyes as he hurriedly kowtowed to express his gratitude. Thank you for staying. Thank you for staying.
Humph, that's enough. Follow me out to take a look.
Since you've come to my Long family, don't even think about leaving. Otherwise, how will my Long family lead Lian City in the future? After saying that, he ignored the subordinate and walked out of the room, heading towards the front yard. Wang Yun had no idea about what was going on with Long Ming. At this moment, he was taking the lead to obtain Lin Rei's trust for Montgomery. I didn't expect that a small Long family would have so many subordinates. I wonder how the Long family's residence is. Just as Wang Yun was lamenting about the large number of people in the Long family, suddenly, an oppressive aura emerged from the depths of the Long family. TSK, this oppressive feeling was rapidly approaching. Regarding this, Wang Yun frowned. He raised his head and a vigilant expression appeared on his face. The origin energy in his body quickly circulated and became vigilant. There's an expert. If Wang Yun could feel it, Huang Zhong could naturally feel it as well. The moment the oppressive feeling appeared, Huang Zhong came to Wang Yun's side with a solemn expression.
Expert. It should be the Long family's patriarch. This was the only thing Wang Yun could think of.
After all, there were very few people in the Yen country who could possess such a powerful cultivation. He's here. Huang Zhong suddenly raised his head and saw Long Ming's figure walking out from the depths of the Long family's residence. Beside him was the servant who was kneeling earlier.
You are the Long family's patriarch? Looking at Long Ming, without waiting for him to speak, Huang Zhong asked. His battle intent soared. He was looking forward to a battle with an expert.
You are the people who barged into my Long family's residence? He looked at Huang Zhong and the others with a puzzled expression.
Huang Zhong felt particularly stupid about Long Ming's question. Wasn't it obvious? He still asked. There was no response.
The origin energy in his body circulated quickly, preparing for battle at any time. However, Wang Yun was speechless about the situation between the two of them. He understood this junior brother of his.
He was a battle maniac.
His gaze fell upon Long Ming, and the seriousness in his eyes increased. The Long family has never existed in the Fire Country before.
Where did all of you come from? Who is the power behind you? Why have you come to such a barren place like Lian City?
And why are you going against the Lin family at every turn?
He went straight to the point.
He was too lazy to waste time on the Long family. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.